Okay, so I think we're having some technical issues. Give me a second, because I cannot hear anything coming out of my sound station for some reason. Maybe we'll see if there's an issue that I can solve. There might be an issue I can resolve. Let's find out. There we go. There we go. Everything's working. Now we can just do the entire stream with chill lo-fi hip-hop vibes. It'll be fine. Right? I should also probably go ahead and pop that. No, that's not the right one. I do this for a living, guys. I know what I'm doing. I'm kidding. I don't. I'm so fucking bad at this. I'm awful at everything that I do on this website. Alright. Goodbye. Goodbye, random thing that signals the beginning of my streams. Did I just get a message? No, I didn't. Okay. Woo! Anywho. How is it going, everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful time so far, though I certainly have not aided in that in any way, shape, or form, given that I'm having issues just getting a stream started, apparently. Which is my forte. My speciality in life is being absolutely horrible at everything, and then doing my damnedest to make light of it. That's what I do. It's how I cope. Not the way Trump supporters cope. Their coping's a little different. It's kind of funny, though. Theirs is really funny. Not gonna lie. But, check your mic. Sound weird? I sound weird? Hold on. Let's see what's going on. One sec. Ah, you're right. The mic does sound weird. It's, disable performance mode. Mic auxiliary. Properties. Default. Alright, let's try that now. Ah, wait, nope, that's why. It's that again. It was that again the whole time. Yumi, oh my god. Hello, Yumi. I made that error twice. I've done it again. Let me just double check. Yep. It was that. The whole time. I did it again, guys. I am very good at what I do, and what I do is fail. Hi, Yumi. I don't need your pity. I do not need your pity. I'm gonna give you love. She flap her tail. I love that I can squeeze this kitty and give her all kinds of love, and she just gives lick and headbutt. She's a wonderful kitty. Okay. Ah! Terror! Why would you do that to my knee? Am I just getting ambushed by kitties this stream? Is that what's happening? Every kitty has come to... Oh, this is... Jay, since you are new, this is Yumi. She is a wonderful little orange tabby, who I rescued about a year and a half ago. And she is... Well, she's a bit brain damaged. But she's so cute. She is so freaking cute. Hi, baby. Hi, baby girl. Okay. Just gonna drop hands. So, maybe we should go ahead and get into what has gone on here lately. We'll get into a couple of things. First of all, I need to tell y'all about a harrowing story of villainy, heroism, and an abduction. You see real Cirrus over here, right? He is small, he is tiny, he is defenseless. He only has tiny small hammer. He cannot he cannot defend himself. Okay? Now imagine my shock today when I'm preparing for today's stream and I'm like, wait a minute, something's missing. Someone's missing. And I realized that Real Cirrus is missing. Well, how could that be? I don't move him much. Well, it turns out that during a stream yesterday, it was either during a stream or just when I was randomly doing my stuff. A thief in the night comes. A panda, not unlike Monokuma, comes into my office, turns me around and begins a conversation with me, and just like that, the thief has acted. I think I'm having a conversation with a loved one. In reality, I am about to be betrayed, for this is all a distraction. And the distraction is here solely for the purpose of abducting the most important member of the household. As I speak with her, her hands work tirelessly to abscond with Real Cirrus, putting him behind her back and then walking away as if nothing happened. And of course, I'm not looking for Real Cirrus. I don't. The clock of my day does not begin and end with the tick of has Real Cirrus been here or has he not. As a result, I think nothing of it. That's probably a good argument for why I shouldn't have children. So today, when I begin my stream, I cannot find him. So I open Raz's office because I figure it's not by chance. It can't be by chance. There's a thief in the house. Raz is trying to nap. So I hear her from the other room. What are you doing? To which I respond, looking for Real Cirrus. He has gone missing. Scour the entire house and find that he's just in our bedroom under a coat. Because there is some evil to which loved ones will stoop, whether or not you believe they will. Raz has stooped to such a level. A war is brewing. So, that's a thing. Did she have a reason? Yeah, to troll me. The reason was to troll me. That is the exact reason why. Evil Babby has betrayed us. Yup. Be careful with BGR's articles. It features nudity. You might want to disable images. Alright, give me a sec. You are right. I should probably do that. Let me pull up the article. Imagine being BGR and just... Where in the article does it feature it? Let's find out. Well, that's an ass. I don't think that's going to be... Oh, that's a lot of asses. I think it should be okay. It's butts. Terror. Do you have a card protector? Terror, do you have a... Did you just bring a sleeve in here? Oh my god. So Terror, one of the other cats in the house, has a bad habit of grabbing sleeves for Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And just stealing them. You know how fickle YouTube can be? True. Let me see if there's... Is there a way to destroy images? Hold on. Do. How to disable images on Opera. Okay, give me a sec. Give me a sec. So, click on the Opera menu in the top left corner. That's not... There is no menu on the top left corner. Okay, there it is. Select settings. Now move to the websites section. Websites, that's not in here. It's not in here. Fuck it, I guess. We'll just manage, I think. Opera does not suck lemons. It has a built-in VPN. Shut your trap. You can simply scroll past it before scrolling. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to have to do. I do not know how to block images on Opera because I am a done. Terror. Terror girl. You cry, but you do not wish to come. Anywho, with all that out of the way. So, what do I have over here? Before we get into any of the bombastic screaming. Teachers will only be here for my list. That's fine. Alright, Tara just wants to play a card game. But is Gainer here? I do not know if Walking Validity is here, but they should be. Maybe. That said, is there an option in settings, or is that just a mobile version? It might just be the mobile version. It says that there's an option in settings for websites, but I can't find it, and I'm entirely too lazy to actually try to find it, especially midstream. So y'all already know this guy. Y'all already know what this thing does. You already know that I got this fixed and working and stuff. I did another mod. So this is my sentry. It's supposed to have a safety here. I deleted the safety. There is no longer a safety. Though maybe there should be, because I just hit myself in the head with the ammo I fired. Oh well, fuck it. Maybe there should still be a safety, since I made it more powerful after deleting the safety. I also have my shotgun, which I had a safety in as well, and I deleted the safety. There is no longer a safety. I also powered this one up too. I'm happy with it. So, ignoring the fact that I just have a bunch of springs here on the table in my desperate attempts to Frankenstein blasters together to make them stronger. I've been having fun just sitting down and deleting blasters and harvesting their internals. I will not accidentally shoot the catos. Terror. Terror, come here. Aw. Hey, hey, hey. Come here. Aw. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Do you want to come here? Come here. Do you want to hop on lap on stream? People don't get to see you all that often. Come here. Come on. Here we go. Here's Tara. She is our forest cat. She's a good girl. What? I know, you're not like Yumi. You don't like being held for super long. She goes. She is not like Yumi in that she wants to be held all the time, has to be held. She is still incredibly cuddly, though. Yeah, Tara meows. Quite a bit. Well, now that I know she's here. Wait, hi, Leah. Hi, Leah, what you doing? Come here, boy. We'll just have all you guys on. Fine. Every cat. Every cat will be here. Mwah. Hi, Leah. How you doing, buddy? Now, right now, it's just an animal stream. It will become topical soon. But right now, it's just cat. He's such a good baby boy. He's such a good baby boy. Hey, Hylia. Are we going to see an appearance from the last two kitties today? What do you think, Hylia? What do you think is going to happen? Okay. There we go. We have officially gone through 3 of the 5 cats. And I've had fun. Is she scared of cucumbers as well? I have no idea. We have not tried. Though Hailey is a he. We thought he was a she when we rescued him, and then he just magically grew a dick, and so we're just like, oh, okay, well, we're not changing the name. You respond to your name still. There's no reason for me to change it. So, here you are. You are Hylia. The most unlikely cat to come is, Baba. Baba, for as cute as she is very, very hard to actually nail down. Which creates a bunch of issues. Da 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 da. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me see if I can find a picture of Baba for you guys. You know, dicks are magical. They are. They are. No matter what Blair White says. Let me see if I can find that picture of Baba for you guys. Because I'm not going to be able to actually, like, get her on stream. Because, well, she's not that kind of cat. It's hard for us to get her to stay still just for medication, much less being in front of a camera. I say I'll find a picture of her. Where the fuck? When was the last time I took a picture of Baba? Well, apparently I cannot find a picture of Baba. Or rather, I could find one if I wanted to sit here and stare at my phone for the entirety of the screen. But I really don't want to do that. So, oi. I gotta check something real quick before we continue. So allow me a moment. I need to go into the community settings. Let's see. Subtitles. Monetization, customization, settings. Community. Let's see. Nope. I had somebody asking if they had been banned, but they're not, not in here, it doesn't look like. Weird. Okay, there we go. found the thing. Alright, all that's done. All that is finished. You never know with that fascist Nightbot. Hey, Nightbot's not a fascie. Nightbot's just misunderstood. Very misunderstood. Like, incredibly misunderstood. God. Why am I so tired? I need more energy. Today's a low-energy stream, guys. Today's a low-energy stream, apparently. I am just... Oh, what? You didn't... Okay, I can just hide behind that. I can just hide behind soon-to-be VTuber Cirrus. That's a thing I can do. Okay, I'll stop. I'm going to end up calling the cats here if I keep doing that. Is that Cirrus? I mean, it is. It is a Necosaurus. So, is this the equivalent of Voshfield? What is Voshfield? I watch Vosh, but I don't get that particular one. Maybe I don't watch enough Vosh. It's either everybody else watches too much Vosh or I don't watch enough Vosh. One of the two. Old meme. Okay. Then we do not need to worry about it. In fact, I would say that low-resolution Hatsune Miku says that we don't have to worry about it. What does low-resolution Hatsune Miku have to say about this? This is all wrong. All of it. Okay, so we can probably get rid of one of those now. All right. Let's go ahead and gear up, I think. Well, actually no, we can't gear up. We can't gear up for the topic. Sorry guys, we're low on H. We're very low on H. Without plenty of H, we can't get into the first topic, so I'm sorry. We have become H restricted. I'll see myself out. No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, there are a lot of H's there, even though I probably murdered at least 2 people with that pun, including myself. Try crack instead. I would certainly give me some energy, I'm sure. Though certainly not in the way or capacity that I'm looking for. Definitely not. Give H injection quick. Inject H into the chat and then we'll be able to go. We'll be able to leave. Oi. Alright. So, the first topic I want to get into, unfortunately, is going to be from Classically Abby. If you guys are ready and prepared for this. I don't know if you are, though. I have no idea. A low-resolution Hatsune Miku appears to want me to buy her a day pass to a theme park and an all-you-can-eat pass to a coffee-based cake bar. You'll be hearing from my attorney. That's fine, Brainbug. Alright. Alrighty. I think I'm ready to suffer. I am more than ready to engage in some form of suffering. And the particular flavor of suffering that I have decided to engage in is watching a Classically Abby video. Now, in this particular video, Abby wants to tell people like me, you know, men, not that there are certain people who believe that, that we should stop hooking up with women. Now, despite the fact that I don't generally do that, nonetheless, I have no problem with people doing that. So let's go ahead and see what Classically Abby has to say about men, hooking up, and relationships. And don't you love that happy-ass freeze frame? It just tells you what kind of video we're going to get into. It's going to be great, it's going to be new, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be hip, and it's going to be classic.
Hello, Classic Crew, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about why men should stop hooking up.
Okay, so, this is going to be fun.
I did a video entitled Ladies, Stop Hooking Up a few months ago. After making that video, many angry people said that I had different standards for men and for women. That I thought men could sleep around while women should wait. Here's the deal. Both men and women should stop hooking up. Honestly,
Okay.
if everyone could just wait until they got married, the world would be a much better place.
So, how, Abby? When taking like this happen, I have to wonder, what is the logical progression where it goes from people stop having sex as often as they do, and then suddenly the world becomes better? Like, I can understand people making a living wage. The world becomes better because then people aren't starving. I can understand if people didn't beat each other, the world would be better because then people would not be enacting violence towards one another, except in self-defense. So now we have to worry about this. Abby, if everybody just stops having sex before marriage, how does this functionally make the world a better place? Because you've laid out the syllogism here. If everybody stops having sex before marriage, premise A, we don't have a premise B yet, but the conclusion is the world will be a better place. So let's see if this syllogism actually can get a premise B, and let's see if we can actually get anything out of it.
So men, here's my advice to you. Stop hooking up. In many ways, not hooking up is harder for men, and it's a lot harder to get across to them why it's bad for them. There appear to be only positives and upsides to it because the immediate negative consequences aren't as obvious.
Maybe because they don't exist, depending on what negative consequences you're going to try to argue we have. Let's find out.
But just because you can have sex in a way that seems like it's carefree, doesn't mean that's actually the case. You might think that you'll have street cred if you sleep with a certain number of women. That's a bunch of lies. First of all, sleeping with a certain number of women to prove to your male friends that you can keep up is a useless endeavor.
Holy shit! We actually agree with Abby! Holy fucking shit. Congratulations, Abby. You actually made a point that I agree with. And I will call it out when it happens. Yes, but not for the reason you think. Now, I don't know what reason Abby is going to use to justify this particular stance. I know what reason I would use for it. And that is that if you are using the amount of women that you've slept with for some type of street cred, then my thought is that you are quantifying these people in your head as objects. And when you engage in that kind of behavior, you are simply boiling women down to how useful they've been to you, instead of actually who they are as a person. That's a bit of disgusting behavior, and it's disgusting behavior that I know that I used to engage in way back when. Though that's probably about 10 years ago or so now. Either way, the point is, I agree with this take. I do not know what reason Abby's going to bring for this take, but I do agree with it.
The same guys who care or would be impressed with your number are the same guys who don't deserve your respect in the first place.
So, I agree with that, but that's not the strongest argument. Like, I think it's a more compelling argument to just point out that you've boiled women down to objects in your head, and that's wrong, than just saying you shouldn't be hanging out with those people in the first place.
And at the end of the day, it won't make people like you. It will rot your relationships and poison your friendships. Being confident in who you are, personable, fun, and charming will make you cooler and more popular than any number of women that you sleep with would. Second, a good woman would love to be with a man who saved himself for marriage and for her.
So, I'm going to go and say this one right now. I don't necessarily agree. Here's my reasoning why. There are plenty of women who I know as friends who do not care whether or not you have slept with someone. Moreover, if you're going to hold the position that you saved yourself for them, can I tell you guys a story about a relationship that I was in before? In this relationship, I was with somebody, and I was with them for about 3-4 years. And they were a virgin before we met, and they were a virgin before we got together. However, it was the fact that they were a virgin that ended up leading to a lot of problems in the relationship. Because when we actually did finally have sex, it was wonderful, it was great, but they did not know enough about their body, and I, being the asshole that I was back then, didn't know enough to actually try to properly explore and figure things out. Over time, this led to a giant rift in the relationship, and eventually she ended up getting with someone who did satisfy her. And you know what? Good for them. We're not on speaking terms anymore, but it doesn't matter for the sake of the conversation. The point of the matter is that if you save yourself only for marriage, you might find that you end up in an essentially sexually incompatible relationship. That is essentially what happened with me. If you find yourself in such a relationship, saving yourself was functionally useless. Now, me and this person didn't get married, but like I said, we were together for 4 years, and we lived together for 3 of those years. So, via common law, I guess, fact of the matter is, saving yourself for a particular relationship doesn't suddenly make it better. In many ways, it can actually make it worse, because you end up coming in inexperienced. That's not saying that you need to go out and just try to get experience before you get married. You do whatever is most comfortable for you, but I do want to provide the counterpoint here.
She will know that you take sex seriously enough to wait for the right person.
So, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, by this particular definition, a career dominatrix does not take sex seriously. And I don't agree with that take.
There's a male fear that if you're a virgin, it would indicate that you have no appeal or that you're bad at sex. That's not the way it works.
So, I think this is going to be another part where I have to agree with Abby. But can I just say that there's no way to say that you're bad at sex if you've never had it? That's a weird point.
A woman won't think that no woman would sleep with you. She will think that you had options and still made the harder choice. Good?
No, not necessarily. Abby, not every woman is you. There are some women who will not, for whatever reason, date somebody who has not had sex with somebody else first because they don't want to deal with somebody who's inexperienced. They don't want to put themselves into a teacher role. Take somebody who is a submissive. They need to be in a relationship with somebody, more than likely, who is able to be a dominant for them, who's able to actually fulfill that role for them and fulfill it well. If you have somebody who has never had any experience walking into a relationship with this particular person, they're not going to be able to fulfill that role. They're probably not going to have the confidence required. They're not going to have the experience required. They're not going to be able to do anything in that particular relationship except be toxic. Because when you have somebody who's walking into a BDSM type relationship like that, and they are not experienced walking in, they end up being a caricature of what they think a dom or a sub is, and it leads to incredibly toxic behaviors, like trying to be overly controlling for your partner, or trying to be overly clingy for your partner in a very unhealthy way, because you're acting like the thing you think you should be, instead of actually learning what that thing is. You can't make the point that people will think A or people will think B, because, Abby, you're not all people. You're not all women. You're not all people, and you definitely do not have that kind of knowledge.
Good women want a good man. And if you're confident in your choice to wait until marriage, it will only reflect well on you. Plus, when you get married, now you get to learn how to have sex together. And that's a beautiful opportunity for you both. And hopefully, since you'll be married your whole lives, you'll have plenty of time to figure out how to have a great sex life.
Not necessarily. Sometimes there are people who have entirely different sexual needs and are not going to be able to be compatible in their relationship as a result. Sometimes these people might find out that they love each other more than anything in the world, but the only way that they can actually manage a relationship together is to fulfill some of their sexual needs elsewhere. You may have somebody who likes both men and women, or people in between, and you don't fit the bill for all of that, and they want to have an experience with those other people. You may find yourself in a polyamorous relationship where certain needs are being met by certain partners. You may find yourself in a relationship that is wonderful everywhere except the sex, and that ends up being the thing that drives a wedge in between you and your partner over time. There are a myriad of situations that will happen and come from this, and it's not that you can just figure out how to work. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you find out a year or two into a relationship that you are, sorry for the burp, dating somebody who is asexual and has a very low libido. And you walked into that relationship with a very high libido, and you are certainly not ace. You are attracted to anyone who you happen to fall in love with. You may be demi, you may be whatever under the sun, basically anything that is not ace. In this particular relationship, there's going to have to be some massive compromises. You two are not going to just figure out sex. That's not a thing that's going to happen in the way that you think it is, Abby. You seem to have this idea that everybody is in a perfect little bubble and they can all work themselves out if they just try hard enough, if they just use their bootstraps and pull them up and everything will work out. But that's not how reality works. Sometimes people love each other and just aren't compatible. Sometimes people are incredibly sexually compatible and realize they don't love each other. The world is not this easy black and white area where you can just be classic all the time.
Third, having multiple partners before marriage does not add to your relationship.
What about multiple partners during marriage, Abby? Just speaking as the poly person here, I'm just asking.
It opens the door to comparisons, jealousies, and other drama, especially if one or both of the partners has a history of no strings attached hookups.
So I got a question, Abby. Would it not breed jealousy and comparisons if you just watched porn? Like, you wouldn't even be in a relationship with somebody else, but you have just watched porn. You're going to be breeding those comparisons. It doesn't matter if you've had sexual relationships with people before or not. You're going to end up finding some way to pull those comparisons out. It's going to happen eventually. And if you are that magical 1 in a million person who doesn't have that issue, congratulations. That's great. Not everybody's like that.
And even though those feelings can be dealt with, it's easier when they're not there to begin with. You might think there won't be any consequences regarding pregnancy if you sleep with someone because, hey, you're a man. Guess what? You are responsible for the child that you helped to create, even if you're not the one carrying it. And that child will change the course of your life. This
one is true. So I have to tell you all in the audience who are watching, please, if you're going to engage in no strings attached sexual intercourse of any kind, please do yourself a favor, wear a condom.
And choosing to end that child's life through abortion is not a solution. You will
Actually, yes, it is. It is by definition a solution.
Still carry the death of your unborn child with you. Taking the life of your own child so that you can continue to sleep around promiscuously is a horrific way to live.
That is not generally why people have abortions. There may be a minority of people who have abortions so that they can continue to sleep around. But in reality, consent to sex is not consent to pregnancy. Consent to sex is not consent to having children. If you find yourself having a child and you do not want that child, it's in your body. You have the ability to terminate it. You should be allowed to terminate it. There's no point in time where that child should have more authority over your body than you have over your own body. There's no point in time where anybody should have more authority over your body than you have over your own body. So whenever you try to make this point that people are just aborting so that they can keep sleeping around, sure, there might be somebody who does that, but that's not generally what happens. There's also a classist take here as well. We'll just go ahead and call her classistly Abby for a second, because how does this affect a sex worker? Let's say you are a male or female prostitute. You consented, even sometimes via contract, to sexual relations with a person. You did not consent to pregnancy. There's no point in time where you consented to pregnancy. In fact, actually, there are times where you should be able to sign a waiver saying you do not consent to a pregnancy because you are here, or you do not at least consent to covering cost of a child. You are here for one thing and one thing alone, and that is to fulfill the pleasures of your client. You are not here to become a father. You are not here to become a mother. If you have this take that somebody's leading a horrible life because they want to just sleep around, what happens to the sex worker? What happens to the person who does this to survive, and it is a better option for them to do this to survive than it is to work, say, a minimum wage job? This person isn't a hypothetical person. Sex workers exist. And taking the stance that a sex worker should not be allowed to do with what their body and essentially their capital that they choose is an incredibly narrow-minded and stupid take. Now, I understand that Abby is definitely not pro-sex worker. I understand that going into this. But I am. So I'm going to go ahead and point out that this is classist and it's bullshit.
You might think that you won't catch feelings if you sleep around. Even if you don't catch feelings, you're training yourself to think of sex as no more than a physical act. You are training yourself to view it as eating or going to the bathroom or any other physical need you just have to fulfill.
And there's nothing wrong with that. However you view sex, as long as it doesn't come at the cost of somebody else, fine.
You are losing all of the more important and beautiful aspects of being intimate. Also, you are sleeping with...
Can I point out before we continue here? So this is not a thing I can do, okay? I'm Demi. I don't really get attracted to people sexually until I've already caught fucking feelings. That's just not a thing I have any control over. But for people who don't have that issue, for people who are able to just see somebody as sexy and they have sex with them, they might catch feelings, but so what? They're responsible for their feelings, not you. Why are you trying to step in and tell them what they can or can't do with their bodies based on a hypothetical scenario where they might catch feelings? Yeah, they might. Hell, some people might end up catching feelings and realizing that the person they slept with is somebody they want to be with, and they might end up getting married. And who are you to stand in the way of that? There's nothing wrong with that scenario.
With another person, and it's not all about you. You might be leading this woman on or giving her the wrong idea, and that's just plain wrong. You might think that you just like sex and you want to do it no matter what. STDs, pregnancy scares, hurting women who actually care about you, treating sex like a compulsion, and losing out on the opportunity to meet the right woman isn't fun.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. We'll tackle each of these bit by bit. So we're going to rewind her video so that we can tackle each of these reasons that she's used. Because there are some that are good reasons, and there are, of course, some that are not.
I think that you just like sex and you want to do it no matter what. STDs.
So, start with STDs. Wear proper protection, make sure you understand what's going in, and you know what? If you are a sexually active person and you engage with other people, then maybe you should go ahead and take a couple of cues from the polyamorous or swinger side of relationships, okay? From somebody who went from the swinger side of sexual promiscuity to going into polyamorous sides, because I realized through swinging that, oh shit, I'm catching feelings because I don't have control over that. That's literally how I figured out I was poly. I figured out I was poly after a freaking swingers party. But if you are in that situation, people who are in those communities, as somebody who's in that community, I can tell you what we do. We get tested. We go and we figure out if we have something. Because there are certain terms that are used in the polyamorous community, things like fluid bonding. And before you fluid bond with a partner, you go and get tested. You do this for a myriad of reasons. One, it's out of respect for the partner you already have. If I have two partners and partner A doesn't want to get an STD and partner B has one, my relationship with partner B will significantly affect my relationship with partner A, or significantly affect of it. Unfortunately, the stigma around actually getting tested to figure out if these things are there is an issue. Now, it's a stigma that the polyamorous community has mostly figured out. We just go and do it and then figure out if we want to fluid bond with the partner after we know if anybody has anything. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's go ahead and go to her next reason.
Pregnancy scares.
So pregnancy scares happen. This is, again, a reason why you need to get protection.
Hurting women who actually care about you.
So, if I and another person get into a relationship together, that is a relationship that is based on mutual consent. Now, if we both decide that we don't want a relationship with each other, but we do want to have sex, we want to have a no strings attached one night or even couple nights of doing stuff, and we go in with the knowledge, the consent towards each other that this is no strings attached, somebody might get hurt, yes, but it's our responsibilities as adults to figure that out when we get there. If you do lead somebody on, though, telling them that you're going to be in a relationship with them and then you just use that to sleep with them, that is manipulative. That is hurtful. That is bad. But if you are going in and there is a mutual understanding that this is just a sexual encounter, then there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I came from a swinger community first. That was pretty normal there to have no strings attached sexual encounters, and sometimes you just ended up breeding friendships with the people that you had sexual encounters with. You ended up having them over for freaking bingo. Well, not bingo in our case, but anyways.
Treating sex like a compulsion.
So, treating sex like a compulsion. This is something that is probably more healthy to do in a relationship where partners understand each other's sexual needs. It is certainly an issue to treat sex as a compulsion when you don't have somebody's informed consent. But I don't know what framework Abby's actually using for this. I think just treating sex as a compulsion, regardless of scenario, to her is bad.
And losing out on the opportunity to meet the right woman isn't fun.
So, okay. Let's go ahead and say that you are sleeping with multiple people. And then you meet the right woman, whoever the right woman is. What's to say that you don't just start the relationship with them and then you stop sleeping around because now you are in a relationship with somebody, a committed relationship with the consent and the conversation that you two are now a thing together, and that's it. There's nothing stopping people from doing that. They do it all the time. So I don't see how this one is actually a negative, seeing as this isn't a thing that actually tends to happen as much. You don't lose out on the right person just because you slept with someone else before your relationship with them. If they were willing to not have a relationship with you because you slept with somebody else before getting into a relationship with them, like you hadn't agreed to a relationship with them yet, and they're upset that you slept with somebody else beforehand, maybe they're not actually the right person for you. Maybe their priorities do not align with the priorities of people who have their own personal freedoms. But that's just me.
Hooking up is wasting your time. It's like
Is it, though?
endlessly scrolling on Twitter, swiping on Tinder, or playing video games mindlessly for hours on end.
Okay, cool. Sex is like video games. Great. I'll remember that. I'll fuck myself to RuneScape. That's what I'm going to do from now on. So, Abby, you do understand that the activities that you listed there are not necessarily wastes of time. For me, when I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm finding things that I need to respond to on my channel. It's literally part of my job. When I'm playing video games mindlessly, that's my time to decompress from everything that I deal with on the political landscape of YouTube. There's nothing wrong with engaging in leisure activities. Sex is a leisure activity. It can be an intimate activity too, but primarily it can be one of leisure. It can be one of decompressing. It can be one of having a moment where you are not dealing with the woes of the day. If you're going to shit on people for simply having time to decompress, which most of the things you labeled out there are, video games, sex, scrolling through social media, if you're going to shit on people for decompressing, it makes perfect sense that you made a video entitled, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was the one where she said that taking time for yourself, having a mental health day, all that shit is bad, don't do that. I understand where that take came from now, Abby.
You are titillating yourself for the surge of dopamine that takes meaning out of your life. Let's be honest.
The dopamine takes meaning out of my life? Boy, tell that to my depression. Please. Tell that to my depression. Sometimes I wish that dopamine would actually come. But, you know, go on. Not like you give a shit about people who actually have mental issues.
Honest. Getting married is one of the most important choices you can make in your life. It sets you on the path of meaning. It's vindicating to love and be loved by someone who you would give everything to and who would do the same for you.
So there's nothing saying that you can't have that journey with someone later. Also, if you want to keep on leaving out polyamorous people who embark on this journey with people and also sleep with other people, like, go right ahead. But at the end of the day, you're just excluding people for no reason on communities you don't even understand. But I do like the little platitude in there. This sets you on the path of meaning. Abby, I have a question. Can you define that? Because meaning means something different to every single person. It doesn't matter if you think that meaning is X, Y, or Z, if I think meaning is A, B, or C. Personal meaning to both of us can be completely and totally different. The difference between the two of us seems to be that I acknowledge that.
People think of marriage as something for the future. They say they're too selfish to get married, or too immature, or they're just not ready for such a huge commitment. You may have used these excuses yourself, or you've definitely heard a friend say them. But here's the truth. You don't flip a switch that tells you that you're ready to get married. You don't flip a switch at 30 or when you've slept with a certain number of women or at any other life milestone and know that it's time for you to settle down. Your own mentality and the choices that you make are the only things that can prepare you to get married. You have to take the steps to make you capable of marriage. And that starts with stopping hooking up.
So again, not necessarily. There are people who are perfectly capable of engaging in a long-term committed one-on-one relationship, but prior to that agreement, they slept around. These people exist, few and far between. But Abby seems to think that this is not a thing that happens. You have to prepare yourself for this commitment. Yes, if you're going to get married, you've got to prepare yourself for that commitment. But there are people, and I cannot stress this enough. There are swingers. There are polyamorous people. There are people who enter into a sexless relationship who are not prepared for that kind of relationship, who do not fall into these easy, neat, definable categories that classically Abby is trying to use for people. There are people who are sex workers, who make their living doing that, and might have a partner who is entirely okay with the fact that they're dating a sex worker or a porn star or whatever particular profession they work in that field, and they realize, oh, there's nothing wrong with this. There are people who have a myriad of different types and styles of relationships, Abby. Not every single one of them is a neat, one-on-one, cis-het. I don't even want to say vanilla because it's not necessarily that it's boring. Not everybody has that exact same type of relationship style, though.
Because hooking up doesn't just stop you from moving forward. It actively moves you back. Now, here's the thing. Sex is awesome. I can say that as a married woman. But sex before marriage sucks.
No, it doesn't. All the sex that I've had, with very few exceptions, has been great, and I haven't been married. What? Sex that I had while swinging was great. Sex that I had in polyamorous relationship was great. One-on-one sex has been great. Group sex has been great. And all of it was done while not married. Most of it done in committed relationships. Relationships that lasted for years. Abby, I'm not sure if you actually have a good criteria for any of this shit. At all.
Even if you want to say it's fun, it means nothing, leads to nothing, and prolongs those relationships that don't have a future. Having sex before marriage is irresponsible and sad. Don't lose out on the women who you might actually have a future with by casually sleeping with the women who you know are not right for you.
So, it may be that somebody is not right for you to be in a relationship with, but they're perfectly adequate as a friend with benefits. They're perfectly adequate as a sex partner for a single night. They're perfectly adequate as a swinging partner. There are people who you might not want to be in relationships with at all, who can fulfill all these needs and are ready and willing to fulfill these needs because they have similar ones. They might not see you as a compatible partner, but they can see you as a compatible sexual partner. There's nothing wrong with that. There's also a last point that I want to make here, and it's a point that was made in the chat, and I want to echo it real quick. Abby, You do know that there are people who want to be in long-term committed relationships, but do not necessarily want to get married. Because marriage is a legally binding contract, and there are certain people who do not want to be part of that type of contract. They don't want to deal with any of that. They might be in a relationship that is frowned upon in their country, and they can't get married because they're not legally allowed to. See people who were in interracial relationships and people who were in gay relationships before those things became legally allowed in the United States. Abby, your position reeks of privilege. You have the privilege, from what I can tell, to be heterosexual. You have the privilege to be cis. You have the privilege to be a monogamous person. You have a privilege to be the poster child for everything that is standard and boring in the world. Not everybody fits into that little bubble. Not everybody's comfortable making the particular commitments that you want to make. But there's nothing wrong with any of that.
Don't lose out on what sex can really mean to you by bringing sex to its basest level. The more you treat sex like another bodily need, the more difficult it will be for you to turn it into something more when you really love someone. Some feminists say that women should act more like men and hook up in the same way that men do. But here's the truth. Men should act more like women. Treat sex with the respect it deserves.
Okay, so this is incredibly sexist. First of all, you're assuming that men just by default did not respect sex, and you're assuming that women did respect sex. It's not that either of them actually respected sex. It's that society had a group of bullshit standards, and those standards included women going into relationships as virgins and men being able to do whatever they wanted. Those are standards that are generally ubiquitous across society right now. They're bullshit. They're stupid. We can at least both agree with that. The answer to this, though, is not to shame people into fulfilling the standard that you think. The answer to this is to tell people to stop being bound by bullshit, arbitrary societal standards. But you know, Abby, it's fine. If you want to keep on telling people in your stupid way that it's okay for you to sit on the other side of the screen and shame them because you have the privilege to be in a position where you don't need to deal with any of this, then that's on you. But I'm going to tell my audience who are watching this, whoever you are, whatever your needs may be, whatever makes you comfortable, as long as you and the people you are participating with are engaging in informed, enthusiastic consent, then whatever you do is fine. You're all adults. Trust yourselves to do the right thing. And if you don't do the right thing, then do the right thing to fix it. But don't sit here and limit yourself because some random conservative Barbie on the internet is telling you to.
Don't waste your time sleeping around and treating sex like it's just another bodily need. Don't waste your time sleeping around instead of finding someone to spend your life with and actually moving your life forward.
Have you considered that maybe this is the same type of mentality that breeds incels? Where they are constantly waiting for the right person and therefore end up being involuntarily celibate and sexually frustrated? And then through this particular mentality, these people end up hating women who do sleep around and are sexually free and start slut-shaming them and viewing them as lesser and inferior? Gee, Abby, it would be really awkward if there were a subgroup of people on the internet who exhibited these toxic behaviors that were built up from the particulars that you're trying to lay out.
Don't waste your time sleeping around and becoming a stagnant version of yourself who doesn't grow or change.
It really did sound like she said stagnant version.
But instead stays treating sex like a cool new toy instead of a God-given gift. Marriage doesn't just happen.
Have you considered that a cool new toy could be a God-given gift? Are you an idiot?
To you. It's something you build your life towards and prepare yourself for. And when something as great as marriage is waiting for you, you want to start making yourself ready as soon as possible. So if you actually want to be a good man and have a good relationship, stop hooking up. And be the kind of man that any woman would want as a husband. Thank you so much for watching today.
Nope, I don't want to hear your thanks. Because I don't want you to thank me when I willingly subjected myself to the torture that is your stupid YouTube channel. So, what conclusions can we reach here? Aside from the fact that Abby is definitely classist, because all of these takes necessarily alienate sex workers. Aside from the fact that Abby is incredibly privileged, because if she weren't, she wouldn't be making takes that alienated people who were in swinger societies, people who are polyamorous, people who are asexual, people who have low sex drives and libidos, people who don't fit into the neat, tidy box that Abby finds herself in, at least I assume finds herself in. I can conclude that most of the information in this video was basically useless. Now, there was some stuff in here that I did agree with, though the reason I agreed with them weren't necessarily the same. I agree that we should not use sex as a weapon. We should not be in relationships with people we shouldn't be in, and we should not hurt other people's feelings by leading them on. But none of these were the reasons that Abby gave. She just assumed that having sex with people damaged them as a baseline, as an axiom, and then went on from there. She didn't actually give definitive reasons why these things are harmful or why they can be harmful. She just assumed that they were and carried on with the conversation. This is not good content. Not that I can say anything about that. My content's garbage too. Point of the matter is, though, this is the type of language that literally breeds incels. This is the type of language that seems harmless at first, but once internalized, breeds incredibly toxic behaviors. Not just masculine ones. This is not a toxic masculinity thing. This is a thing that is just toxic in general. And it doesn't sound that way. It sounds nice. It sounds fluffy. And I think that's the problem with conservative people like Abby. Their language sounds nice and fluffy and wonderful until you give it more than 2 seconds of thought. That's the problem with a lot of this. It is very intuitive, but it doesn't actually jive with material reality, and that's kind of the problem. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more on my channel and of what I do, then please go ahead and go in the description and check everything out there. You can find my Patreon there, and while you're down there, there's also a bell notification icon and a like button you can click as well. But before you hit that bell icon, you might want to hit subscribe. If you haven't done so, that's probably a good thing to do. But in any case, thank you for watching the video. Thank you all for being here. It really means a lot to me. We're going to move into Patreon slides, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful end of your day. And beginning, and practically every part in the middle. Honestly, I really hope your day doesn't suck. Mine does right now. But that's not the end of this. That's not the end of this particular stream. I'm still here. Though I did see somebody randomly in the chat hop in and go, "Did Cyrus's voice just get sexy? Is there something up with my voice today?" I'm confused. Damn it! I should have plugged DDLG Playground. You're right. Fuck. That was a perfect way to plug DDLG Playground, or a perfect time to, and I didn't. Oof. Shadow the Hedgehog's reload mod for Dolphin is a blast. Oh, cool. That might actually compel me to play that game. Thank you very much for the €5, though, Twitlord. Record the line and edit in later. Let's see here. What is going on with my voice? Let me go check the live stream. So, get and do a couple stream. Okay. Okay, I need me to listen to me. I'm just going to have myself talking for a little bit, and me will listen to me. Listen to me. I'm just going to have myself talking for a little bit, and me will listen to me. Oh! My throat hurts, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. I understand now. Yeah, no, that's literally, I was playing League on stream yesterday, and my voice, I ended up screaming a lot, so now my voice is just this. I mean, I can do this for a little bit, but it actively hurts to do my voice normally. This is just comfortable. It feels like I'm not having to elevate my voice when I do this, so this is what you got today. Throat hurting makes him sexier. Oh, jeez. Ugh. Let me get my back to pop. I would really like it to stop hurting. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. See, that's funny. Somebody just commented an hour ago. The title of the video is about Caitlyn Bennett. Why is the entire video about Joe Biden's executive orders? This was my first video, and I've got to say, I probably won't be back because titling was so far away from the subject. Except the whole reason that I went into Joe Biden's executive orders there was because Caitlyn Bennett was criticizing them. But, you know, go on. You could do a perfect chocolate rain now. Chocolate rain. Some may die and others feel the pain. No, that's not. I can't do that. Sorry. Absolutely not. Surus throat singing. God damn it, no. None of that. Lean away from the mic. Okay, cool. I lean. I'm here. I am as far away from the microphone as I can get. Is that better? Is that what you need? This is good for me. Is it good for you? When I breathe? Oh, I have to lean away from the mic when I breathe. Otherwise, I'm not Tay Zonday. Let's see here. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. That's a lot. Anyway. Twilord says there's also similar mods for Sonic Riders 1 and 2. Hoping collectively this knowledge negates some of your post-analysis misery. So, I'm going to be honest. Knowing that the community is making better Sonic material than Sega always makes me happy. But it also depresses me. Sing the whole song? Oh god, we're gonna get super demonetized if I do that. Thank you very much for the €5 super chat, Twilord. Luckily, today we are not having the same issues we did last stream, where all of you were fucking donating just to spite me. Luckily, we're not dealing with that today, so I'm good. We need Sirs to pole dance as he talks about forbidden bedroom sports. Hey, would you like to play Wii Sports with a dildo? I'm not going to sing the whole song. I'm not going to sing the whole song. I might do that when we get to the VTuber avatar, because then it will be funny. But not right now. What's that you said, Cirrus? Everyone needs to... No, that's not what I said! Alexandrite, that's not... No, it's not time. Fucking hell. Why do you guys hate me? Okay, you know what? Here, fuck it. So, is today Monday? Today's Sunday. You know what? We'll just do that. We'll just... Properties, end goal. We'll just put a thing up there. You know what? Fine. Give me a second. What's today? The 25th? Okay, so... 01/31 2020. No, it's 2021. Ah. There we go. Okay, so we have that there. If we actually get the amount required there, then I will do the singing of Chocolate Rain, but with the VTuber avatar once it comes in. The VTuber avatar should be in on the 2nd. So that actually works out. Mind if I ask what song you use for your video outro? I've tried everything I can think of to find out what it's called, but it's, sure. Give me just a second. I can find it for you. While I'm finding it, though, I will go ahead and play it, for fun. So. This is not the signal that we're ending. Do not take this as the signal we're ending. Let me find it. You may stream, but now it hurts my brain. Chocolate rain. Okay. Let me find it. Is it here? Some drunk bitch just donated $5. Abby once said that rape victims should be forced to have a baby. Yeah, that was horrible. 3 people so far have thought that this is the end stream music because they left. Okay, I think is it this? No, that's not it. I'll find it. Hold on. Give me a sec. Okay, I found it. So if you go into the YouTube audio library, it is called Enable the Tiger by Jade Wee. Like, literally Wee. The way that it's spelled for the Nintendo console. Here, I have it right here. But it's from the YouTube audio library. There you go. That's it. That's it right there. It's not over, Valis. Okay, back. Come on, pop. Please. So yeah, enable the tiger. I wonder if I can find that on YouTube itself. Let me see. And there you go.
That squirrel.
That is it right there. Ugh. Thank you very much for the $12.14 donation, Balmung. All right. I have found the music for you. It is there. It is done. Ignore the springs I'm looking at on Home Depot. I have no idea why I would possibly need more springs. Why can't I hold all these springs? Anyway, okay, bad jokes. Bad jokes aside. Valis, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Short stream, everybody. Let's go home. It shouldn't be copyright, Reno. This is part of YouTube's audio library. Yeah, music without copyright. No attribution required.
That squirrel looks
Cartoon
familiar.
Contrarian has donated $10. Thank you very much for the $10 donation, Cartoon Contrarian. What's this at 22:14? Towards singing Chocolate Rain. God, fuck, that's right. I need to go through and do the Communist Manifesto still. I can't do it right now with my voice like this. We did the first part, and then I ended up not using it. I'm gonna go through and do the whole thing again, I think. That was 10 pounds, in case you were wondering. Okay, so 10 pounds turns into that. That makes sense. That makes sense. Springs. Jay, look, there's a reason I have springs, okay? I need the springs for these guys. Because, you see, you have Blaster, but then you end up taking Blaster apart, and then you need springs. So you end up pulling out... You end up pulling out plunger tubes. And I need springs. Big springs. Need very big springs. Oy. Go ahead and put this back together. Neat. Neat. Get on there, you fucking bolt sled. Jesus. You can get in there. I know you can. I believe... fine. There we go. There. I just took a blaster apart and put it back together on stream in a matter of seconds because, well, it helps that it's a CETA. And CETAs are built to be put back together really easy. Wait, can I just fucking... Can I chamber this to the front? Pretty sure I can. Let's find out. I have it chambered to the front. So I can, but it's very depressing. It makes almost no sound when it hits. That should not be falling. That is a 3D printed part, and I need to keep it. Otherwise, I'll be very sad. Twilord says, Sonic, no copyright law in the universe can stop me. Fun fact, us neither. Sonic, wait, that's illegal. Sega will allow it. And then Sonic Mania was born. Thank you, Christian Whitehead. Thank you, Ian Flynn. You guys are the only reason that the Sonic community isn't tearing each other apart right now.
That squirrel
To carry the Booze Beast for the $5 as a thanks for the song link. Also because your channel's awesome as fuck. I've been dying to put it in my music library. Fair enough. Well, I am glad I was able to help, and thank you very much for the $5 super chat. It is incredibly helpful and also incredibly... something I'm incredibly thankful for. I was fucking up. I also just realized I haven't dusted. So I'm going to do that real quick. There's an area down here that needs dusting. There it goes. Okay, I'm better now. That was bad. Oi, 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 oi. Let's see here. And you end up pulling out. Yep, people can clip that. It's fine. It's fine. So, with that said, let's move into the next topic. Because, realistically, if we're all going to suffer, we might as well do it together. Nakomi-san for the $4.99 super chat. Have to say, I love your channel. Well, thank you very much, Nakomi. I appreciate that a lot. I love my channel, too. Probably for different reasons than you, though. I love the fact that I can hide behind cartoon avatars and say things on the internet. And that makes me very happy. Kind of like this. Boom. Orla says that she has launched a resin piece across the room by accident. Orla, do you do resin? Because, like... I have my resin molds right here. Like, I do a tiny bit of resin. I don't do a lot of it. But... I don't think anybody actually knew that until right now. I frequently think the stream is ending at least 3 times per stream. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, is my voice actually getting back? Hey, it doesn't hurt to use my voice normally now. What? Oh, nope, there it goes. Fuck. Okay. It's like my voice just naturally went up, and it was great, and it stopped hurting, and then it just went back down, and now I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of sad. I'm very sad now. That's called unary, or unary, I guess. One of the two. Twilord just donated €5. A bunch of the Adventure Era staff now work at Nintendo. Guess who has realistic human cities, vocal theme songs, super forms, and god monsters now? You're right. Mario does now. Wait, have you guys seen... We're totally going to get a copyright strike for this. But before we get to the next topic, have you guys seen the Bowser's Fury trailer? Because it's kind of fucking silly. Because you're not wrong. So, we don't want all of this. Like, this is kind of nuts. Why is it freezing? Why is it freezing? Like, I need this in my life. As somebody who didn't like Mario 3D World, this gets really fucking, like, interesting real quick. Like, just wait. Just wait. If you think it feels supersonic right now, Locke, give it a sec. Because it will get much worse here soon. And there you go. Like, this does not feel Mario, and it's wonderful. Like, Mario games are best when they do not feel like Mario. Like, why do we have Super 4 Mario in a Pokemon battle against Bowser? I want this. I need it in my life. The stream is officially copyright struck. It has to be. Whom the internet shall now draw as a girl. Like, okay, so here's what I want. After I get my VTuber avatar, I want to get a hoodie for it. To dress it up, where it turns it into the Super Saiyan Neko version, because it's all the avatar's already a Neko avatar, like it's already that. So I want the Super Saiyan Neko hoodie for it. I think that would be perfect. Yeah, it's unnecessarily epic. It has no reason to be as fucking balls to the wall great as it is, but it's. This is the one time in a very long time that I've actually been excited for a Mario game. Like, for Odyssey, I was trepidatious, and I ended up liking Odyssey for the most part. I'm just excited about this. This is stupid. Stupidly great. And I need it in my life. The Super version needs a tail? Yes, it does. Yeah, it's probably only going to be a short thing, but, like, it's great. It launches on February 12th, and I'm gonna fucking get it and stream it, I swear. You need a canonical Bowsette. I need a canonical Bowsette. Imagine if the Bowser's Fury DLC ends up being like an entirely new game, but it's built as DLC so they can try to sell copies of Mario 3D World. Imagining your voice coming out of that avatar is going to be weird. Of course it's going to be weird. It's going to be very strange. Well, actually, it's not going to be as strange as this. Hold on. Where is it? Can I find it? That's an OBS video. That's not what I'm looking for. I need a video that was made in April. You're waiting for the Alex Jones voice. That voice hurts my throat so badly. But, okay, I need... Oh god, it's going to be so hard to actually find this video. Failed my test. Does the Streamlabs donation go for the goal? Streamlabs donations are what go towards the goal. Specifically, those. Let's see. Can I find it? It would be great if I could find this thing. Remember Toho A-Live? I don't, but I've not been like the biggest Toho fan in my life. So that's probably why. It's very easy for me to miss out on Toho stuff. Twilight says, I love 3D World, but it's been way too long since I've had Superform fights in a 3D platformer. Maybe the worst trend was that color started. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. As much as I love... oh, wow. What the fuck? How are so many of these videos demonetized? Did a bunch of my old shit get demonetized? That's weird. Oh, well, whatever. Whatever. It's fine. What's the worst that could happen with demonetizations?
That squirrel looks familiar.
Holy shit, Valis! That is a large donation. Thank you very much for the $50 donation with no context. I'm sorry you failed your test, but holy shit. Why is it that I set up the weekly goals and you guys end up trying to finish them in a single day? Are you guys speed-running donation goals? Is that what's happening? Why are you doing this? Oh, here we are. I found the video. It said you are not very marketable. I'm not. You're right. I really am not. But so when you imagined my emasculated avatar thing, or not emasculated avatar, when you said it's going to be hard to imagine that voice coming through that avatar, there is a time where I played a joke on this, and in 2019, I played at this for April Fools. For those who don't remember. Like,
and it makes sense that things are that way. It's very strange. It's very emasculated, feminine boys, and women who can't trust them because
this
they're
is
not standing up and
old
being
content.
strong. So women that then step up and become very masculine women. So, you know, and school does that. School teaches women to be more masculine, and it teaches boys to be more feminine. But then women can't trust men because men aren't being men any longer.
This stream's definitely getting copyright struck. So, okay, we're done with this, but the donation goals here are no longer the ones for the house repairs. I've finished the majority of the house repairs except tiling. I've done that. That's why that is closed out. If you go to the PayPal pool where the house repairs things is, that's been completely and totally ended because that's done. The donations here are just people who want to support the channel. If you want to support the channel, I have a weekly goal set up, basically the money that's going to be thrown into savings, so that if repairs have to happen in the future, I don't have to worry about it. I can just pull from there instead. But if you want to support the channel, then you can do that. But right now, they are not going to anything in specific in the same way that the house repair stuff were going to. The house repair stuff from before was going to tiles, both ceramic and foam, was going to concrete backerboard, was going to wood, was going into cleaning chemicals to destroy all of the mold that was present, was going to tools, was going to nails and screws and paint, and practically everything that was needed to fix stuff that was in there. Brackets, because I had to build new countertops from scratch. New lighting, because the lighting didn't exist in the kitchen anymore. That got fried. So, yeah. That is... when donation goals were going towards repairs, patrons were actually getting pretty much weekly updates on the repairs and got to see the house as it was going, just in video form. Now that I'm done with that, these donation goals are going into just basically keeping groceries paid for, throwing things into savings in case something happens later, just everything. And in an ideal world, I won't have to worry about this shit later. But I'm going to try to make sure that there are some things that happen once the VTuber avatar is in, and I can do some more crazy-ish content.
Looks familiar.
As rewards for whenever we hit those $200 donation goals. Valis has donated $10. What do you mean you missed out on tiling? Also, Shallow She said, just shut up and take our money. Well, God damn it, fine. I will. I'll shut up and take it, I guess. So... said, what do you mean that you missed out on tiling? The reason that I missed out on tiling is because I do not feel comfortable tiling that kitchen. The floor is incredibly uneven because of the foundation warping. The house is old. Like, there's no way I'd have to go back and rebuild the frame for the foundation to guarantee that I don't have, like, warping floor. And right now, even after putting concrete backerboard down on everything, even after putting an extra layer on top of everything, I was not able to get the floor level enough to where I'm comfortable putting down tile. More than that, I've never done tiling before, so I have all the materials sitting there, ready to go for the tiling process. The mortar, the tile, the spacers, the grouter, or the grout, everything. But I have not started that particular project yet because I am not confident in my own ability to do so. We were using vinyl flooring before, and I really don't want to continue using vinyl flooring. I have it in the office right now. My problem is that we move things around the house so much that it just tears up the vinyl. I mean, hell, if you want to see an example of why I don't like vinyl... No, you can't really tell. It's all too dark down there. But, like, there's literally just patch that's just the regular floor under me right now because the vinyl's been ripped up. Is that an airplane? Fair. I can't do vinyl planks either because the floor is not even. When the renovators were trying to do the... When the renovators were trying to do the house the first time around, when we first bought it, they tried doing vinyl floor planks the first time, and they could not get them to sit down because the house was uneven. Been, like, literally, been there, done that, tried. I'm sorry that we can't. They put pads on the furniture feet. So that works if I had the pads. I just don't have pads yet. Moreover, so much of our furniture so far is just built now that I need to actually start incorporating pads into it. You're right. It sounds like your house has foundation problems. Well, yeah, it does. It definitely does. But we live on a hill, so that's half the reason why. But I mean, like, my desk right now is not a regular desk. Like, it literally is built. Can I do this in a way? No. Well, it's hard to tell. But, like, the wood here is not like a regular leg. This is like an outside post that I sanded down. Like, we don't have expensive furniture or anything in here. It's all fucking DIY. You can make pads for yourself with thick velvet and hot glue. I need a hot glue gun. That's a tool I don't own. That's why it was affordable. Well, of course. Like, the whole reason we were able to afford doing the kitchen the way we did is because we spent so much time just doing things on our own. Okay. I've said we're getting on a topic. I have derailed topic. Let me go ahead and hop out of all this stuff. All right. So, this is going to be fun. This is not going to be the most fun topic to cover, but apparently some House Republicans are deciding to be transphobic. I know. Shocker. Transphobic Republicans. What a weird world we live in. But somehow we are back on transgender people in sports as a topic for some reason. The whole reason that we're even here is because Joe Biden attempted to bring in some very pro-trans policies, both in protections for bathroom bills and also in letting them come back into the military. However, because of that, now there are Republicans who, solely because Biden is being pro-trans, have decided that the party line has to be that Republicans are anti-trans. So, what does this mean? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. A congressional Republican has introduced a federal bill that would ban transgender girls and women from participating in school sports. We're back here again. Republican Greg Steube from Florida. Oh God, of course, he's a Florida man. Has introduced H.R. 426, which would threaten federal funding to state and or local athletics organizations if they allow any person whose sex is male to participate in an athletic program or activity that is designed for women or girls. Now, let's ignore the fact that if somebody is on puberty blockers or if somebody is indeed taking hormones, then that does substantially change the way their body operates in these sports, and it just fucking stupid stuff. But the bill does not describe exactly how schools should determine what someone's sex assigned at birth is. It just vaguely states that sex shall be recognized based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. Okay, so I guess people who are XXY or Klinefelters or what have you are all completely screwed in this scenario, as some of those things might not match up the way you think. In a press release, Steube touted support for the United States Confederate Conference of Catholic Bishops, a Christian organization run by men that has already attacked President Joe Biden for supporting further expansion of abortion and contraception, because so many of these levels of bigotry always go hand in hand. Because we are dealing with bigotry right now, though, can we please get a trans rights in chat? Apparently, he left his trans rights at home, so we need to go ahead and give it to him. Please and thank you, but I will continue. The bill, which is unlikely to come up for a vote in the Democratic House, would be a direct challenge to Biden's administration's position that anti-LGBTQ discrimination is already illegal under federal law, and that transgender people have the same rights to participate in sports like anyone else. In a sweeping executive order signed on Wednesday, Biden expanded protections for LGBTQ people and specifically cited discrimination against transgender people in schools. Children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to a restroom, a locker room, or school sports, Biden's executive order said. Stube introduced the same legislation in the U.S. House early last year, and Representative Tulsi Gabbard introduced a similar bill later in the year. Senator Kelly Loeffler, not anymore, introduced similar legislation in the U.S. Senate. In 2019 and 20, a wave of Republicans in state legislatures all over the country introduced bills to ban transgender girls and women from sports. And the Idaho Republicans succeeded in passing one such bill, but it's currently being challenged in a federal court. The Idaho law allows for female students' athletic gender to be challenged and requires the athlete to undergo a medical exam to prove it. That doesn't sound invasive as fuck at all, does it? Does it? A doctor, the law says, will have to examine the athlete's genitalia, hormones, and DNA to make a determination of their sex. That's a fucking yikes. That is an absolute fucking yikes from me. I'm sorry, if you're a doctor and you're trying to get into my pants just so you can determine whether or not I can throw a fucking ball, I will kick you in your goddamn nutsack. That's my genital evaluation of you. Stube's 2021 bill does not say how state and local sports governing bodies should define or check an athlete's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. All the bill does is threaten their federal funding if they don't. Well, then maybe some doctors who have an ounce of decency will just say, yeah, I checked, they're fine, let them throw the goddamn ball, fuck it. The bill contains no language banning states or schools from using forced genital or DNA exams on girls and women who want to participate in school sports. His bill also doesn't have similar requirements for boys or men who want to participate in sports, meaning that genital exams will only be for girls and women. Imagine that. Imagine those exams only existing for one sex, one gender. Why? Why would you only include one? Why are you only attacking the women?
That squirrel.
Why is it just trans women that you have an issue with? Also, thank you very much for the $50 donation, Jack. Trans rights are human rights. Period. Full stop. It doesn't matter what you say. Trans people are human, therefore their rights are human rights. His bill does not have similar requirements for boys or men. Transgender equality advocates argue that the entire point of the legislation is just to deny that transgender women are women. Well, of course. There's no denying that it is easier, generally speaking, for a trans man to pass than it is a trans woman. This is already a problem we have to deal with in general. I'm not going to get into the particulars of the ways in which people use to clock people so that they can say, you're not passing or you're not passing. That's not what this conversation is about. I'm just going to point out that it's already difficult for people in that situation to feel comfortable in their own skin. And this just feels like one more way to invalidate them. This is fucking gross. This not only does this only affect trans people, but it only affects trans women, as if they're the only ones that they don't see as valid. This feels like treating people like objects, and when they don't actually work within the paradigm you've designated for those particular objects, suddenly you've got issues. Claiming that being assigned male at birth makes one constrained to the category of a man and the so-called biology of maleness for their entire lives is tantamount to erasing the embodied and lived experiences of trans people. A woman who is trans is a woman, wrote the ACLU attorney Craig Strangio. Strangio? I do not know how to pronounce it. I am so sorry. In a Medium article about the GOP attempts to force transgender girls and women out of sports. And all the science we have demonstrates that not affirming trans and gender expansive kids and who they are results in catastrophic mental health consequences, including devastating rates of suicidality, which is true. Imagine being the type of person who probably goes, hey, you should probably not be trans because then you have a higher rate of suicide. Not even realizing that by being the asshole who says that thing, you inevitably end up creating those higher suicide rates. What a fucking coinkydink. Honestly, I think that this politician deserves a quick kick in the balls in Minecraft. Because realistically, if a motherfucker who looks like this is trying to determine whether or not somebody should be invasively looking at your genitals, I'm gonna have an issue. And it's not about the fact that I think he looks ugly as shit. I think I look ugly as shit. It's the fact that the last thing we need is more cishet white men
Squirrel.
telling people what they can and can't do if they're trans. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Back the fuck out, please. And this is just... I don't even want to say it's absolutely bonkers, but it is. This is another article about the same thing. Greg Stoops seeks to disqualify transgender women from women's sports, but it is going over many of the same things that were on over there. Just show me that this is not like a one-and-done article. This is a thing being covered by multiple areas. And I have a problem with this. I really do. Because when you constantly misgender and when you constantly try to invalidate people at that young an age and you don't let them properly explore who they are, then later on in life, you end up creating this scenario where this person is uncomfortable, where this person has a higher rate of suicidality, where this person is not in a good headspace, and it's all your fault. And you hide behind scapegoats like, the efficacy of sports, the importance of sports. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be fucking honest. We value sports way too fucking much. We do. I don't see a reason why you should hold a position that sports, a mere activity to a fucking game, is more important than somebody's identity. How do you hold the position that a game is more important than a living, breathing person? How do these things jive? Bills like this are never about protecting sports. They're about invalidating minorities. And it's gross. So, if you have any influence over this, if you have the ability to contact Greg Stoops or your Congress in any way, shape, or form to oppose predatory and shitty and harmful bills like this, then I suggest you do so. Engage in affirmative action. Engage in calling your representatives when shit like this is going down. Let your voice be heard. Do what you can to protect the people who need it most. With all that said, if you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so that you can know when new episodes come out. And if you do have the wherewithal to, go ahead and check the description. You will find links to my Patreon and other areas where you can find me on social media or support me down in the links below. Also, Greg Stoops, if you want to go into the description of this video and find the link to DDLG Playground, where you will find any number of toys and dildos and such, you can use the coupon code SURIS to get a dildo and go formally fuck yourself. 10% off, courtesy of me. Stupid fucking people. It's always people named Greg. I know, right? Ugh. Ugh. We stretch. Is there a good Greg in the world? There's Onision, then there's Greg Locke, and now Greg Stube. Or I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. If he's going to invalidate trans people, I don't care if I mispronounce his name. He already fucks up other people's names. Jack says, have I hit the toe picture contribution level yet? Jack, you do not get you don't get toe pics. You don't get toe pics, okay? You would need to fund my Nerf hobby for months to get toe pics. And some of the blasters I want are not cheap. There's a reason I don't own them yet. I can't afford them. No, we're not. No toe pics. Raz said, and then... Okay, look, Jack, for the last transaction, Raz said, and then you said, no, I don't need it. You said, no, I was kidding. That conversation was done, and we agreed. Like, look. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. You would not be able to fund something like this for me if I were getting multiple of these blasters. But this is something that is on my mind every day. I want a Talon Claw. Because it looks great. So, no. No toe picks. No Talon Claw, no toe picks. Like, Jack, do you want my fucking Christmas list of blasters? I want the Talon Claw, I want a Spamf, I want a Caliburn. We go to Out of Darts now. Luke has some things that I want. Give the poor fella tick. Give the poor fella pics.
That squirrel
No.
looks familiar.
DIY Patrick has donated $65.86. I hope this will make up for the bad jokes last week. Love your content, and I hope with my new work schedule I can catch your streams more often. Well, thank you very much, Patrick. That is awesome. That is also incredibly generous. Freaking $65 is a freaking lot. Jesus. But I also want... Okay, so this is a Ceta S, which I already own one, so I don't want another. But do you know how many of these I want? These are little rockets. I own one of these. It is attached right here. Little rockets are great. I can aim it at the camera and fire. It is a shotgun. But you build little rockets like this. Like, you fully customize them. And I want many of them because I want to attach little rockets to all of my blasters. That's gonna get expensive. Like, you have no idea. Do not ever fall for funding my Nerf hobby. It is a bad hobby. It is stupid. Twilight said, the only time I care about sports is when it relates to cultural preservation, and even then I don't really watch them. Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you very much for the €5. Michael Conning says, sir, speedrun completed. Freaking, you guys got us to the... I started the goal an hour ago. William Maury Baker says it's an overpriced hobby. So it depends. So all of these things are overpriced as they are right now. However, what I am planning on doing is just getting myself a 3D printer and just building all of these blasters myself. Like, That's the thing. For me, I want these blasters, but I do not want to buy them like this. I want to build them. And I'm going to be getting a 3D printer so I can. And the 3D printer is also going to be used so I can build things for, like, merch stuff for you guys, too. So, like, the little rocket here is a 3D printed piece. Whereas this guy, though, is not a 3D printed guy. The Sita is not 3D printed. Like, you can do Nerf on a very, very good budget if you stick with Dart Zone stuff. Ah, hi, Yumi. So I just need to buy a printer. Jack! That's not what that means. Stop. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm getting a printer with my next paycheck because I want to get a printer to do things for the channel as well as for the hobby. Oh my god. Come here, Yumi. You just give love. Yumi, I need help. I need help. I'm so scared, Yumi. Chat scares me. Give love. Nice squeeze. You guys don't even want to know how hard I just squeezed her. And she's just like, yes, squeezes warmth. We also got a $4.99 super chat from Sarah Felix. Forget toe picks, do a pedicure stream. I've never had a pedicure, and I've never had a want to get a pedicure, not gonna lie. You be careful, cats are squishy. I know, they are squishy. She's a squishy kitty. A baby. A baby girl. But yeah. Magazine style. What is a takedown mag? I have no idea. Oh, fuck, you can do inscriptions? Neat. Anyways, that's enough indulging in that. No, so that's how expensive some of the blasters that I want are if I were to buy them. However, like, this blaster is $6. And given the modifications I did to it, it's very strong for a $6 blaster. Like, shotgun is $15. You can do this super cheap. Springs at Home Depot don't cost a lot. Everyone who's ever owned a cat knows that no one owns a cat. No, the cat owns you, and they come and go at their own volition. Michael Conning says, set a weekly goal for $500 and see how quickly you get your blasters. No, I'm not doing that. That's way too much. I already felt like 200 was too much. I'm not doing 500. Absolutely not. Hey, Yumi. This is just Yumi's stream right now. Look at this baby. She's so happy. She's so happy. She just lay. This is what she wants. And she's so cute. Said minimum wage in California adds up to about $500 a week. Yeah, but I shouldn't expect you guys to be paying that much in donations. That feels exploitative. Okay, so for me to put a $500 a week donation goal on a stream, I would need to have over 1,000 viewers. Because the way I see it, if there's 1,000 viewers and half of you are donating $1 each, then yeah, that's reasonable. But I don't find 500 when I have like 200 viewers reasonable. because that would mean that the math working out in my head would be that half of the viewers would need to donate at least $6. And one, there's no guarantee that would happen. Two, not everybody has $6 to spare. And that's kind of where my metric is. Like, 200, if I have 200 viewers and half of you are donating $2 each, that's more reasonable to me. Before I put a goal like that, I would need to have many more viewers, and hell, at that point, I might even not have a goal there at all, because it would just, donations would come naturally at that point anyway. At least I think. What is her name? This is Yumi. She is my little orange tabby, and she gets along with Growlithe okay. In fact, actually, aside from the times when they fight, she is the only cat that really gets along with Growlithe all that much, and that's because she's kind of an outcast for the other cats. So some people are into exploitation, so it might work. Yeah, we generally call them capitalists, generally speaking. Well, fuck, I guess I'm just putting the donation goal away now. You guys can't be held. You guys can't be responsible with that. Goals for sharing and recruiting subscriptions. So, like, here's my goal. If by the time my birthday hits, I can be at 40,000 subscribers, I will be ecstatic as all hell. But I don't think that goal's realistic. I really don't. Now I have cat hair in my nose. Because my channel only recently started gaining subscribers at a decent click. Like, look, before this, can I do this to, like, the last 90 days or so? Okay, so my monthly gained subscribers before this was very, very fucking low. I wish I could see further back than this on here. That'd be great. Queer Extra says, the CA is Canada, sir, it's not Cali. I'm sorry! California, Canada, they're the same, right? They're completely the same. I was taught geography in school. I believe, at least. Maybe I wasn't. Write that goal and repeat that goal every video and stream. I mean, yeah. That's a thing I probably should do.
That squirrel
Why not?
looks
Orla
familiar.
Seraph has donated $6. Here, I'll give you a typically average donation. God damn it. Thank you very much for the $6 donation, especially with the trolling that came up for it. How's it going, Callan? Poking head up. Okay. Unfortunately, though, most of the growth on the channel lately has been due to the inclusion of Caitlin Bennett videos. Checking your nose, Yumi. I'm just making sure you don't have any scabbies or anything. That's all I'm doing, hun. That's all I'm doing. Callan says, slithering around as usual. Need more estrogen. Callan, you always need estrogen. You have a jar of Skittles in your house that are just called titty Skittles, I'm sure. Hi, baby girl. Hi, honey. Are you a good kitty? Yes, you are. Oh, okay. No belly for you today? That's fine. Why are you... She had enough. She gave me the bite. Obviously, Yumi has had enough for the day. That was adorable. That was adorable as all hell. The cat wants estrogen. Oh, boy. Okay, so we're going to pause for just a second. I'm going to run to the restroom, and then we're going to get into the BGR article because Holy shit. This one is, Before I go, though, Sarah Felix says, you help me endure liver pain and chronic fatigue. You deserve monies. Well, I'm sorry that you deal with liver pain and chronic fatigue. Those are not fun to deal with. But thank you for the monies. I don't think I deserve them, but if you think I do, then I it's not like I can say no to super chats. I literally do not get to consent to super chats. They just happen. All right. I'll be right back. Boop. You guys think you're alone, but you're not. Don't. I see you. I will use my fancy screwdriver to fight you. Is that now like screwdriver ASMR? Like... That is so much creepier when you're wearing headphones. Jesus. How much have you missed? We went through the anti-trans legislation, and we went through something else. What the fuck? What other thing did we go into? I don't remember what the first thing we covered was. Classically Abby. There we go. Did that. Valis said, for the proper consent to super chat. God damn it. A special screwdriver. What makes it special? So, here's what makes this screwdriver special. It's very simple, okay? I have Blitzfire. I want to modify Blitzfire, so Blitzfire can be nice and strong and powerful. So I take screwdriver, and I shove it in Blitzfire. And then I pull screws out of Blitzfire. I said out. I said out of the fucking Blitzfire. Holy shit. There. Yay, I did it. I just lost a screw. The screw is gone. But then I take screws out of the Blitzfire. And I get to modify the Blitzfire. That's why it's special. Just... And then I can do that, and the Blitzfire is fully together. And all is well in the world. Do I consent to future donations? I mean, I can consent now as blanket consent. Nathan Nostalgia says, fancy screwdriver and hammer is the Sir Cyclone hammer. Oh my god. So wait, does my symbol like a hammer a screwdriver, and then, like, a Nerf gun. Like, there. That's the... This right here. This is like the family crest of Cirrus or something. It's just a screwdriver crossed with a gun in the background. Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing? Can we get fan art for this? God damn it. The judge just says, yes, I got consent. I got it on my fingers. I got it on my mustache. That's horrible. That's horrible. Is that your cross to ward off the vampires? Yes! I ward them off with screwdrivers. There's so many screwdrivers on this table. Because I've been working on blasters. Okay, just walk that all away. We're all good. All right. So, I guess you guys are right. Today, we are going to be covering biblical gender roles, or rather, we're going to be covering his biblical sexology, where he talks all about sex. And though the guy sounds like a card-carrying incel, I guess he knows enough about sex to inform us all on it. Before we get into that, though, I want to let you guys know that we have a goal for those of you who are just tuning in. I would like to try, magically, I don't think it's going to happen, but magically, to hit 40,000 subscribers by March 2nd. March 2nd is my birthday, so hey, if I can get 40,000 by then, cool. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But I want to at least give it a shot. I figure, what's the worst that could happen? But with all that said, let's go ahead and get into biblical gender roles. And by get into biblical gender roles, I of course mean that in all of my professionalism, I have forgotten to actually open up the website that has everything in it. Here we go. If you haven't been introduced to Larry's particular style of bigotry, well, this is going to be an interesting one. Now, just so you guys know, I am going to have to flip away from this every now and again because apparently he has some nudity in this, which is just wonderful and just great for the YouTube monetization. But the title of the article is Why It Is Not Wrong for Men to See Women as Sex Objects. It reads... Okay, we're going to have to do the different voice here. I don't know if... Can I do that voice with my voice like this? Let's find out. Feminists and church leaders have taught a false dichotomy that men must choose between seeing women either as people or as objects of sexual pleasure. We are constantly warned in the media, as well as in our churches and educational institutions, of this supposed need to combat the sexual objectification of women. We are told this is a flaw in the masculine nature that must be rooted out. But is this behavior a flaw in the masculine nature? Or could it actually be designed by God? Now, I want to go ahead and say that there is a big difference between sexually objectifying somebody and seeing somebody as sexually attractive. You can see somebody as sexually attractive, and it's not very hard to do so, depending on your sexuality. Whereas, if you are objectifying them, you are boiling them down to essentially just being a sack of meat. These are not the same thing. Let's see if BGR conflates them. Recently, I received a letter from a Christian husband who told me that his wife stopped having sex with him, and this has gone on for a long length of time. One of the reasons she cited for stopping her sex is that she felt like she was wrongly being treated as a sex object. He agreed to go to a Christian counselor. That was already a bad idea. And the counselor agreed with the wife that her husband was treating her as an object. I am writing this article as a prelude to a second article where I will give the full text of his letter and address some other issues he is facing with his wife.
The main objective of this article is to both prove from logic and scriptures that men seeing women as objects of sexual pleasure does not mean they are dehumanizing women. Except it kind of is. You're literally stripping away the human aspects of a person and boiling them down to, again, a sack of meat. But, you know, go on, Queen. As we are so often told, I am going to prove from a biblical perspective that a man's natural inclination to see women as sex objects is not part of his sin nature, but part of his God-given nature. Well, God gave you sin, so I don't know if this is actually a good metric. In the following sections, I am going to build a logical and biblical argument in a step-by-step fashion. This will prove that not only is it morally wrong for women to see proving that it is not morally wrong for men to see women as sex objects and even to use them as sex objects under the right conditions. Somebody taught Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series how to breed, and this is what happened. What are objects? Hey, I have that pulled in my house. Dictionary.com defines an object as anything that is visible or tangible and is relatively stable in form. This dude's going to be committing an etymological fallacy. That's what I'm predicting. He literally is just going to say, the dictionary told me I'm right, instead of understanding what people mean with objects. Okay. Are human beings visible? Well, you're not, and I kind of hope that you remain that way. Are human beings tangible? Do human beings have a relatively stable form? I don't know if you're actually stable, Larry. I have no way of knowing. The answer to all of those questions are yes. Therefore, human beings are in fact objects. Please take note that I said human beings, which means both men and women are objects. Okay, so he's literally going to do the thing where he says if you think a woman is sexy, they're already an object. It's sexual objectification, therefore it's fine. That's not what people mean when they say sexual objectification. This is already committing an etymological fallacy, where you're literally trying to say that the dictionary definition of something, or the way a word is being said by you, is the way that it's always being used, and in the way that it's used by other people is not valid. It's fallacious because words don't have meaning. They have usages. Words do not have prescriptive meanings. They have descriptive identifiers. We have two types of objects: animate objects and inanimate objects. Animate objects are objects which are alive, and inanimate objects which do not possess life. A hammer is an inanimate object. A dog is an animate object, and so is a human being. I'm glad he talked about hammers. Hammers make me happy. Objects made in the image of God. While dogs and human beings are both animate objects, a human being is so much more than a dog because human beings are directly or indirectly made in the image of God. The Bible tells us regarding man that he is the image of the glory of God, but the woman is the glory of man. Man in God's direct image bearer. Man is God's direct image bearer. There we go. And woman is God's indirect image bearer because of her shared human nature with man for whom she was made. Because of the common humanity, men and women are so much more important to God than animals, as Matthew tells us. I'm not going to read the Bible verse. Now that we understand what objects are and that humans and beings are actually objects, this leads us to the truth we need to discuss. Human beings use other human beings every day. Okay, so there's a difference between using someone and you two consenting to something. Like, that's... Okay. Whether we realize it or not, every day we use other human beings as objects. When we get in a taxi, we are using the taxi cab driver, an animate object, in conjunction with his car, an inanimate object, to take us to the destination we need to go. When you go to a sandwich shop and have the worker construct your sandwich just as you like it, you are using that person as an object to make your sandwich. No. That's not generally what we're doing. If you see a worker as an object, then you don't need to be asking a worker to do shit for you. Just because you might see other human beings as objects, Larry, doesn't mean that most other people do, even if you have a very vapid definition of object that you're working under. But we'll continue. Farmers use human beings as objects all the time. That's called slavery. During the harvest season, a farmer may hire temporary workers to harvest his crops before they go bad. He may have machines, inanimate objects, to do some harvesting, and other harvesting he may use animate objects for. These are just a small fraction of the way we use human beings in our everyday lives. Okay, so, BGR. I hate to say, but the difference between a human being and an inanimate object is that a human being is thinking, has feelings, and can or cannot consent to various things. A tool does not have that ability. You can argue that we are objects, but then you're going to be working with the most vapid and short-sighted definition of a word. Also, we just got another influx of subscribers. I'm beginning to think that this is because as people are subscribing, Streamlabs doesn't catch them in time, and so they get them later. But I'll go ahead and say hello to everybody now. Madison Miller and Alyssa and Caleb Moshier, No One, Justice Decker, Neighbor, Mudsnipper, and Mumfly, thank you all for subscribing. We go into his next point. Why must we have the right to use objects? Whenever we use an object, we must have the right to use it. If we use an object without having the right to use that object, that is a form of theft. For instance, if my lawnmower were to break down and I just went to my neighbor's shed without asking my neighbor for the lawnmower, that is a form of theft. Even if I intended to push it back, I have no right to go on his property or use his lawnmower without first having his permission. The right to choose a certain object may also come with certain limitations. My neighbor may allow me to use his lawnmower, but he may allow me to use it with certain conditions. He may insist that I check the fuel and make sure it's filled back up to where it is when I was done. He may insist that I agree to repair any damage to it, should that occur during my use. He may give me a time limit to use it and a time I must return it by. Okay, so you're literally just trying your damnedest to contort yourself around this idea that people can be objects. And then you're trying to use definitions like theft to support this, which I'm sure you're going to use then to work in consent. But let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit when this starts applying to humans, instead of just a funny definitional game. Must we account for human beings' feelings before using another human being? We have shown that God determines what our usage rights are when it comes to all types of objects, both animate and inanimate. But just because we have the right to use another human being, does that mean we can do so without regard to their feelings or whether they wish to be used or not? We don't have that right to use them. I think that comes without saying. But what does Larry think? Let me illustrate this point by going back to some previous examples. The point being that in most cases, human feelings are irrelevant when it comes to the use of one human being by another. When I go to my favorite sandwich place, I must take into account when I go to my favorite sandwich place, must I take into account the feelings of the sandwich maker when I use him as an object to make my sandwich? The answer is no. Larry, if you don't take into account the feelings of the person who you are ordering food from, do you know what we would end up calling you? That would make you a Karen, Larry. You're now Karen. Because you don't care about the actual worker. You don't care about the person. you can try to contort yourself around this idea, to warp yourself around and go, no, they're a worker right now, so I don't have to do any of this. I don't have to sit here and treat them like a human being. I treat them like an object. At the end of the day, though, if you tell me that you don't care about my feelings when you walk into the sandwich shop that I'm in, I'll go ahead and tell you that I can deny you service. I will just tell you to leave. Go to a different sandwich shop. There's millions of customers that will come in every month, and I don't need you. This is coming from somebody who worked in a sandwich shop. I have no reason to worry about getting a customer complaint if I tell you to fuck right off. I've done it before. I've gotten customer complaints before, too. Still got promoted to full-time. He has agreed to work for a certain wage. Oh, the libertarian principles are stupidly showing themselves now. And both his employer and I, as his customer, have the right to use him to make sandwiches, regardless of his feelings. This is just an argument for economic slavery. This isn't even about women's rights right now. This is just an argument for economic slavery. Because somebody agreed via a contract, which they may have been compelled into doing for any number of reasons, you are now allowed to exploit them no matter what their feelings are. If you think that this is an okay thing to do, fuck right off. Don't buy things from anybody, and kindly eat a cock. Or, better yet, go to my sponsor DDLG Playground and buy one. 10% off if you use coupon code CIRRUS. Shove it down your goddamn throat. Do we have to take into account the feelings of the barber or hairstylist when we use them as an object to cut our hair? Larry says, the answer is no. Do we have to take into account the feelings of the worker at our local oil change place before we drive and have him change our oil? The answer is no. I would argue that you do. Because if somebody's having a bad day, that's going to affect the work that they give you. And if you don't take that into account, you're just a fucking asshole. And now some examples for the ladies. If you hired a photographer to photograph your wedding, and on the day of the wedding they just had a fight with their wife or girlfriend, does not feel like working that day, is it okay if he does not take your wedding photos? Okay, so you're basically arguing, is it okay if somebody has a family emergency for them not to fulfill an obligation that they gave beforehand? Most contracts in these ways are set to where they can be terminated at any time by either person. Secondly, might I point out, Larry, that if something happens, a death in my family or what have you, and I have to go and it just so happens to be your wedding, fuck your wedding. Seriously, fuck your wedding. Get somebody else to do it. Go to another baker. I'm going to be perfectly honest, Larry. I don't give a shit about your wedding, based on the history of things that I don't think you do either. If you think that merely because you signed a piece of paper that secondary circumstances that come in and change the material reality of the situation do not exemplify people from certain obligations, then you live in a reality dictated only by agreements and not by actual material conditions. This is not just sexist behavior. This is literally classist behavior. If I agreed to come work on a certain Sunday, and then I have to go into a medical procedure that Sunday, randomly, like it just happened, which is something that's happened before to me, I have to go in, and then you tell me that, oh, well, you agreed to work it, and now I have to punish you. Now, fuck you. My well-being is more important than the fucking $7 you were paying me an hour. Shut up, figure life out. It's more than the fucking job. But, we continue on. Here's the truth of the matter. As far as human beings using other humans is concerned, if one human has the right to use another human, no human has the right to use another human being, you goddamn troglodyte. For a specific purpose, then that human being using another human being has no obligation whatsoever to take into account the feelings of the human being as to whether or not they want to be used for that function. this dude LARPs being a Vulcan so fucking horribly. From the perspective of the human being who is to be used for a certain purpose, they must always realize that their duty to perform their function as an object always trumps their feelings. Imagine having an employer, and this employer tells you this. What would you do? What would you say? And how long do you think an employer that literally just said, fuck your feelings, none of those matter, make my sandwich? What do you think that employer is going to have happen to the people who work for them? So, let's get into the sexism. God created women as a sexual object for man's use, and much more. Here's the part where I have to flip around so that you can't see the nudity. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. The scriptures are clear throughout the Old Testament that woman was created for man, not man for woman. These are the uses for which God created women for man: a subordinate helper, a sex object, a companion and comforter, a mother and caretaker of his children, keeper of the home, and the weaker vessel to need his love, leadership, strength, protection, and provision. The fact that God created women for men, not men for women, is extremely offensive to our modern feminists and egalitarian society, but it is the truth of God's word. I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, if you're the type of person watching this who, when material reality is shitting in your face, and you just go, but my Bible! That's what I think of it. That right there. Fuck your Bible. If you are this type of person, fuck it. From time to time, I peruse other blogs to look for mention of my blogs on other blogs. I found this comment from a man on what he thinks is the only reason men should get married and why he got married. Companionship and sharing were the main reasons I got married. Most men marry because they have found someone they enjoy being with, not to have sex. I wanted to find a bucket of barf in after reading this statement from this feminized man. He literally sounds like a woman, but the truth is, there are millions of men in the Western world that will make statements like this man every day. And while some of these men may be asexual or have lower levels of testosterone, so they are more like women, some of these men are normal men who with normal levels of testosterone, and they just have been trained their whole life to suppress their true, God-given masculine desires towards women. The fact is that without societal conditioning that tells men their wants and desires are evil and selfish, and that women's desires are noble and righteous, we would be hearing some very different things from men. Men marry women for sex. They marry women for companionship. They marry them to bear their children, to care for them. Men want to have a beautiful, sexy wife to come home to each day who makes their home warm and inviting and has dinner on the table ready each evening. They want to know that whenever they wish, they can drink from the sexual well that is their wife. Oh my God. This sounds like this should be on r/incel. This man sounds like he shits fedoras. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This is incredibly gross language. Like, I can't even begin to point out the issues here. Women are their own autonomous beings. They are their own people. When you're sitting here trying to say that men who view them as autonomous beings, as partners, as their own living, breathing human people, that suddenly means they're feminized, first of all, fuck you. I've met actual femboys that have infinitely more testosterone in their pinky than you can hope to have your entire life. Okay? I've known femboys that will bend you backwards and break your back while laughing. And you know what? They'll look damn cute doing it too. And I'm straight. So, this idea of the low T man, Nobody controls the amount of testosterone in their body without hormone therapy. So if you're going to be that person who tries to shame people for something they have no control over, then you're a useless piece of human garbage and filth. Oh, but don't worry. Don't worry. It gets better. Now he has a question in the next section. Is there a difference between seeing wives as sex object or women in general as sex object? Let's skip the nudity portion. This is a question that is sure to come up in the context of women being seen as sex objects by men. The fact is that men see all women, whether they are married to them or not, to a greater or lesser degree as sex objects, including their blood relatives, like their mothers, daughters, and sisters. Did it just start feeling real Alabama in here? It started feeling really Alabama in here. I don't know how to feel about that. If the woman is less attractive to the man based on his preference, then he may see her as less of a sex object, and if she fits his preference of sexual attraction, he will see her as more of a sex object. So I'm going to say this right now. I have some pretty sexy friends, okay? I'm not going to name their names, but I have some friends that are pretty fucking attractive. And you know what? I don't see them as objects. I see them as people, because that's what they are. Now, it might help that I'm demi, and I'm not able to see just the flat-out sexual desire first before I'm already attracted to the personality. Maybe that's why. But I don't think that I'm unique in that aspect, and I don't think that that's a feminizing factor either. And even if it were, I don't see how that's actually an insult. Again, I can actually name a femboy that would break Larry over his fucking back. Conyer. If any of you haven't seen Conyer, Conyer will rip this person apart. But, regardless of any of that, not everybody sees everyone else as objects. All you're doing, Larry, is pointing out how much of a shitty person you are, and then trying to justify it by saying that the entire world is like that. Let me go ahead and make a couple things clear. First of all, if the entire world is like that, then the entire world needs to change. That doesn't suddenly make it better or good. And I would pick up the Bible to show that it's bullshit via that book as well, but I've already put it where it belongs, on the ground, to be stepped on, whenever it's used in a situation like this, whenever it's used to justify the abuse and the exploitation of other human beings. But it is not just me. It is not just me. Because I have a friend who has some words to say as well. And this friend is Renita-chan. If this were a full video dedicated to BGR on a stream, and I had 2 hours to dedicate just to his ass, then it would have been me and Renita both going at this person. But as it is just me, then I will go ahead and bring her thoughts to bear here. So, the thoughts start here. Note, when I say you, I am directly addressing Larry, not you, Cirrus. In response to the first paragraph under the section Application for Women, my feelings of disgust about being viewed as a sex object by every man that looks at me are not due to pride. They come as a fear of trauma that came from being abused and molested by a boy that had the trust of my family. Fear coming from the fact that there are men who can and will murder, abuse, and rape people who present female, cis, trans, and NB, and I've had men get angry when I didn't respond to their sexual advances. I have been traumatized by being treated like a sex object by a person close to me and my family. We'll call him Kenny after the character from the Telltale Walking Dead game, because Kenny's an asshole. While I was not full-on raped, it got very close to happening. I was disgusted with not just him, but also in my own body. I felt disgusting and did not like being viewed by these sorts of men for the fear that it could happen again. And this time, no one will be able to intervene should they overpower me. So no, Larry, it's not pride. It's fear, disgust, disappointment, and trauma that makes me disgusted in men that view me as a sex object. There's a part in the article where Larry says that God wants you to reject your cultural conditioning that goes in direct opposition to his word, to which her response is, okay then, you're going to completely ignore how Jesus spoke to women the same way he spoke to men, with respect. Jesus elevated women and children, while you treat them as possessions for you to manipulate as you so please. There's a part later as well where he says, you as a woman were created for man. Man was not created for you. She then responds, in keeping with your created purpose of man, you are in fact a sex object for men. God reserves the right for use of the body, but when you are married, your husband may fully use you as a sex object. Okay, this is still part of the quote. Let me make sure that I have this right. So she responds to that by saying, I'm sorry, but I don't owe the use of my body to anyone. Imagine for a second that you're a kid and your mom brought you and your sibling only one copy of a game, and that a game you wanted, and you two share. And she said the game belongs to your sibling. Your sibling says you can play it when they give you permission. Just because you share the system and the game happens to be in the console when you get a turn to pick up and play it, doesn't mean your sibling owes you the use of the game. You'd still have to ask permission or risk being punished by your mom for violating the agreement. Hell, this is the same thing as the parameters that Larry tried to put up earlier about lawnmowers. Discounting the fact that Larry's a biblical literalist, as I view the story of Adam and Eve of being just that, a story, the whole thing falls apart when the Bible mentions Cain going off and starting the nation of Canaan. He would have needed to procreate, and the only female on the planet, if the story is literal, is his mother, and he ran away from home. So clearly, there were not the only people on the planet, therefore this has to be a myth. While you are a guard to your virginity as a sacred treasure for marriage, you should never scold men for being sexually attracted to you for simply glancing at your female form. To which Sarah responds, then how should I stop them from committing lust since I have a boyfriend, and in BGR's worldview, technically belong to him, and therefore any of the dudes eyeing me up would be considered lusting by his definition. If his solution is wearing loose clothing, that'd make me a bigger target, since loose clothing is easy to grab and remove than tighter fitting clothing. Funny how women's virginity is the only concern for marriage. Bet this loser doesn't understand that the hymen is not a marker of sexual purity. Its only function is to prevent urine and feces from entering the vagina while the child is still being toilet trained. Beyond that, the hymen has no use. Someone can have a torn hymen while still being a virgin, sports, strenuous activities, and such can tear it. And someone can have an intact hymen while not being a virgin. The vagina is a muscle capable of expanding 300 times its original size when aroused and properly prepared for sex, but that would require the good Christian dickhead husbands to give a shit about his partner's pleasure. I'd also like to point out there's something I want to add here. Every single wife that Larry has had, by his definitions with the hymen, should be sexually pure, because his little dick energy is so strong, I cannot be convinced that he has penetrated far enough into any of his partners to actually break the damn thing. But we are going to flip from Renita's critique now back to Larry, because there are some parts that we have not commented on, which is where Renita's critique was beginning. The application for women. If you, as women, are reading this and you are angry or hate the fact that your husband or men in general see you as sex objects, this is what you need to do. You first need to realize that your feelings on the issue are not holy and justified, but are based on your own sinful pride, which should be why Renita responded that this is not about pride. We then go to the application for men. Hey, this part's for me. Both the secular world, and even sadly much of the Christian world today, tells men that their God-given masculine desires are based in pride. If a man desires for his wife to submit to his authority and not argue with him all the time, we are told this desire is based on his wicked male pride. We'd actually call that toxic masculinity, since they think that they own people, and they fucking don't. If a man desires to be the primary breadwinner or sole provider for his family, again, we are told this is on his wicked male pride. Well, yeah, I'd prefer not being the only breadwinner, but I don't have that option. In any case, it is a little bit based on male pride. It is a little bit based on toxic masculinity. The idea that you should be the breadwinner and that somebody should be financially subservient to you. The idea that they should be, as an axiom, is toxic. Finally, if a man desires to have sex with his wife anytime he wishes, as opposed to only when his wife is in the mood, and mutually desires sex, he is told this is wicked male pride and selfishness on his part. So, yes and no. It is not wrong for you to desire sex from your partner if they are not inclined to do so. It is wrong, however, to act on that if there is not enthusiastic consent and mutuality between you and your partner at the time. Merely having the desire to have sex with your partner is not the same thing as what Larry is pushing for, as it being a right for you to be able to do so. Then he goes on to say, the biggest problem for Christian men today is not pride, but cowardice. We as men are too cowardly to call out those who attack the masculine human nature, which takes the image of the bearer of God. We as men need to realize that there is a reason why the world attacks the masculine nature while elevating the feminine nature. It is symbolic of mankind's rejection of God himself. When we take the weaker vessel, woman, and elevate her above the image-bearer, man, we are spitting in the face of Almighty God himself. Well, then spit we shall, because, God, if you're listening, and this is the way you think things should be, fuck you, it's our planet now, fuck right off. Honestly. We don't need to humor shit like this, quite frankly. Like, this is stupid. This is a guy who, while married, manages to be the poster child for incels and people who think that they are owed things by other people, who think that they are owed things by women just because they are lesser in their eyes. If you think a woman is lesser, I hope a woman kicks your ass and literally outdoes you in every single conceivable thing and way that you possibly could manage. Everything that you've ever done in your life, I hope a woman trumps you in. Okay? But that's all of the blog I'm going to be reading today, because there is a lot in here. We skipped over a bit, but I cannot in good faith encourage you to read the entire thing. It's all horseshit. With that said, though, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed this trip down masochism lane, then by all means, go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so that you can know when the next brain aneurysm happens. Also, go ahead and check the description down below. There is an affiliate link down there if you need to go ahead and do something more pleasurable than listening to Larry. But there's a coupon code down there for you as well to make it a little less expensive. There's also Patreon and everything else. But there is a final note that I want to get into real quick, and it is a final bit by Renita. Let me go ahead and make sure that it is here. From Renita. How about you head over to DDLG Playground and get something there so you can go fuck yourself? If you think that women are uncomfortable in being treated like we're beneath you to the point where it's okay for you to ogle them in public because we're prideful, then you have another thing coming. I was ogled in front of my father, who was talking to the dude leering at me, who was around the same age as my dad when I was 18. And I tried to block his view of me, and the dude kept shamelessly fucking staring at me and making me feel unsafe. I shudder to think how you can live with yourself knowing that your daughter, your baby girl, who is supposed to be the person you love and protect, is viewed as a sexual object by dudes who may do unspeakably horrible things to her. If you truly loved her and cared about her and her safety and emotional well-being, then maybe you'd understand that she should be viewed as a human being and not a slave that could be mistreated solely by the douche you marry her off to and will not care about her feelings as a whole human being. Now, if you'll excuse me, Larry, I'm off to learn some astronomy and then solve some puzzles as Professor Layton, because at least the professor is a true gentleman who knows how to treat the women in his life with motherfucking respect. And with that, we are out. Yeah, no. I don't know if there's a way to, like... I don't want to use the word fix, because that's not fair. But change the minds of people like BGR. Also, I need to grab my Bible now. Come here. You have gone through so much. It's okay. The Gideons provided you free of charge. Alright, now. Shalashai. 12 minutes ago, I'm willing to bet BGR isn't even married. He's the final boss of incels. He's been married twice, unfortunately. Okay, now did I break this blaster when I threw the Bible at it? Nope. Still works. One day Cirrus is going to burn that thing, Pepe laugh. Give it time. If people keep on using the damn thing to justify hurting people, then maybe. I also just realized there's a screw missing in here. Oops. I should probably fix that. Give me a second. Oh, Dix, was that your first time being introduced to BGR? He is, quite the interesting character. How is that still... Why is that flexing so much? Can we never do him again, please? Unfortunately, BGR is a recurring person on this channel. Make sure that I've got all these areas. Okay. Sorry, I realized I made a mistake. I'm currently trying to fix that mistake. Oh, I just realized that site pops up. I had no idea. That certainly makes things a little easier with this guy. Anyway, send you a DM on Twitter with a dumb picture on it. Give me a second. Give me a second, I'll find it. He's one of Cirrus's rogues gallery. Yep. It is part of the rogues gallery. In a sec. Okay, here. Cirrus, according to followers. Here we go. According to followers, why would you dare use a Nerf Ultra Pharaoh for the gun? Why would you use a Nerf Ultra for the gun at all? Please never use Nerf Ultra for anything ever again. I mean, thank you for the meme. But the fact that you used a Nerf Ultra insults me greatly. But Cirrus, according to followers, sickle, Nerf gun, hammer. According to conservatives, they're actual real weapons. But where is Cirrus' voice? What do you mean? My voice is not doing very well today, so you guys are stuck with this gravelly shit. I'm sorry. Look, a nerf is a nerf. Look, a nerf is a nerf. Locke, if you think that an ultra... right? Okay, Locke, do I need to explain what's wrong with ultra? Do I have to do that? Is that a thing I gotta do? Locke, Do we need to sit down and have like a heart-to-heart conversation about the different ammo types in Nerf and why some are inherently shit and others are good? Is that the thing we got to do? Is I can go get... fuck it. You brought this on yourself. I will be right back. All right, Locke, time for me and you to fight. All right. Oh, I know you're being an ass, Locke. But now I got to put you in your place, and it's your fault. So, might I introduce you to the humble wafflehead dart? This, for full-length darts, is what you use. It is made by a company called Dart Zone, and they fly straight, and they fly true. This is a rival round. These are also good. They veer to the side a lot, but they're good for close-range blasters. They're great. This is a half-length dart. Half-length darts fly just about as well as waffleheads do because there's not enough foam to catch the wind. These are wonderful. Now, let me introduce you to the Ultra Dart. This little flaming piece of fucking garbage is made of polypropylene. What's the difference, you may ask? This is your standard waffle. It bends, it sags. I can flick the damn thing. I can do this. It's fine. Let me bend the polypropylene dart. Oh. That was depressing. How did that happen? Oh, God. How in the fuck did that happen? Oh, well. The reason for that is very simple. The dart is made of polypropylene. It is an incredibly hard and dense foam that means that this dart catches the wind, it goes anywhere, and the things break on a fucking dime. This is horrible. And I'm not trying to be elitist, William, because, like, these darts, these are the cheapest darts on the market. The cheapest darts available to people are the actual better darts. The Nerf stuff, the stuff that Nerf actually makes, is horrible. These Ultra darts are made by Nerf. They're garbage. Like, but technically, my weapon can fire Ultra. Technically speaking, I have a barrel attachment so that I can fire Ultra darts. So we're going to go ahead and put this Ultra dart right where it belongs. We're going to fire it out into oblivion. And then it will be gone. No more Ultra darts. Fuck Ultra darts. No. Bad. This is why we do not do Nerf Ultra. Nope. It can't actually cause actual pain because the Ultra darts have a stupidly big rubber tip that compresses down really hard when it hits. These cause pain. Like, if I were to actually load this guy up, beep, in here, beep. This is the sound this makes. Now imagine this on your flesh. Oh, that was a misfire. How the fuck did we get a misfire? Awkward. At least it's not Turf Ultra. Ha! No, see, Turf Ultra is just as flimsy as Nerf Ultra. We had a misfire. Maybe not get a misfire again. That's better. Okay. I like when the dart sails past my face after it bounces. Anywho. No. Nerf Ultra bad. Never a Nerf Ultra. Never. They're horrible. Literal garbage dart. There's a piece of it on my desk from when it bounced. Can I turn this into a philosophy lesson? Sure. Let's talk about the philosophy of using shit that fucking works. The philosophy is called pragmatism. Shit that fucking works should be used. That's how it works. That's the goal. I need to see, did I get my... Because Growly's barking a lot. Just give me a second. Let's see if... Let me go see why Growly's barking. Guys, guess what? Does everybody want to do an unboxing stream now? Because, I think it's going to be an unboxing stream now. For at least a second. Ugh. Let's get it. Package is moist. Guess it's been raining. Okay. Alright. This has finally come in. Hello, I'm a troll. I know I'm fat. Carry on. I know, there was a box in the box. Imagine that. Fuck. You know what? Screwdriver. You will pop this tape for me. Aha! More Dart Zone. Real-time new genre. Yeah. The genre changed mid-format. We go. Okay.
Well, this is gonna look kind of dangerous. My Dart Zone Pro came in. So, there it is. That feels nice. Where is my I have a half-length dart, right? I know there's other stuff that's supposed to be in here as well. Yeah, there's gear in there. How old am I? I am 28. But I'm also a fully grown adult, so I know what I enjoy, and I do what I enjoy. So, how do we get those bamboos out? There we go. There we go. Now the bamboos are out. Speaking of half-length darts, this is the first time I have ever owned a bamboo dart. And they are called that because they have these tiny little ridges that let them seat properly in certain weapons. So now that I have my first bamboos, I guess I'm going to load them. Let's see. So we do bamboos in there. Oh, that has a stiff prime. Go ahead and load those in. Okay. Well, that's going to be fun. Now let's see. Let's see how hard this fires. That wasn't bad. That really wasn't bad. What about here? Yep, that fires pretty decently. But how does it feel? Ow! Yep. Yep. It fires hard. It definitely does that. Bro, you're still alive, sweet. For a little bit. For a little bit. Cirrus wants to live forever. Yes, this is me wanting to live forever. Alright. Well. Neat. That was not supposed to fire at the screen. Oops. Due to some podcasts / channels, and I've reached the point in my life where almost all the content creators I enjoy are younger than me. I don't cry for the internet. Don't cry for me, internet. I died a long time ago. How are the ergonomics? Honestly, they feel really good. Like, so one of my favorite ergonomic feels has been my Blitzfire, and this is right up there with my Blitzfire. Let me actually compare how they feel. And I'm glad you got your name changed, Jack. That's awesome. So, there's the Blitzfire. Ergo feels good for that. There's a nice little indent there for this. And that feels good. This, it's not as comfy as the Blitzfire, but this still feels really good. Like, I actually really like how this feels. And I mean, it just looks fucking great. Like, this is the type of thing that would cause me to get shot by the police. And it spins well, too. I like that. Oh, and it's got safety. Cool. Now the question becomes, does it have an underbarrel rail? Yes, it does. It has Picatinny down here. So if I wanted to put like a laser sight or a flashlight down there, there's Picatinny. I can put it here. Also, if I'm terribly worried about issues outside, what? Okay, obviously I gotta break things. Use that in the next insurrection. Nah. I use real guns for stuff like that. These are for play. Real guns are for self-defense. Just mount a light on it. So, if you are outside playing with this guy, though, you do that. And then suddenly it is no longer an issue. At least it's safer outside. So that's fun. So the poor trigger discipline's making you sad? That's fair. I will exercise better trigger discipline from now on if it will make you happy, Locke. If it makes you happy. You're too white to get shot by the pigs. Alright. Let's go ahead and fill up these speed loaders. Might as well. Should mount a laser on it. Mount a laser on it and make it look like Leon's pistol from RE4. Do I ever have Nerf wars at my house? So I'm looking to do that soon. I actually have about 5 acres of land to play on here. One of the benefits of owning your own home and owning your own land and owning it in the woods is that I have the opportunity to do stuff like that. Are coyotes dangerous to humans? Yes, they are, but the likelihood that you're going to have to deal with them is really low. Out here, you deal with them pretty frequently, though. Be careful, Cirrus. Might be white, but Growlithe is in danger from the ATF. Yeah. Said, why didn't you move to Dallas? Why would I move to Dallas? I mean, moving to Dallas would have been neat to be near, like, Aaron Raw and Matt Dillahunty, but 5 acres, Nerf dart shoot like 100 feet max. Connor, you don't know how far, like, high-powered Nerf fires. 100 feet is good for, like, a starting mod, but if you are using fully sealed internals, a brass barrel for chambering, if you're using a metal bolt sled so that your prime is not as screwed up, if you have your O-ring sealed correctly, if you have your internals greased well, and if you have a powerful enough spring and potentially even the use of a spacer on top of it, you can get them to go about 200, 250 feet. Did Cirrus have a proper gun? I'm not going to give details, but there is proper weaponry in this house, though it is used for hunting. But Aaron Raw's barbecue? Look, I want Aaron Raw's cooking because me and that man have sat down and had ghost pepper wings. Or I had ghost pepper wings, he had ghost pepper crab. And we talked about the different tolerances we had for hot sauce. I want to do that again. If you have your O-ring sealed correctly, this has been Sex Tips with Cirrus. Dix, I have not hunted yet because I don't have my license, but I do have the equipment and I do have the weaponry right now. Though, if something hops onto my property, I cannot say whether or not I have or whether or not I would legally fire at any animal that happened to be on my property when it shouldn't have been, coyote or otherwise. I just can't say. Have I considered equipping a toy drone with a Nerf gun to make a point? I would need to have a flywheeler for that. And I don't have any flywheelers yet.
Can I trade fresh bread for some jerky Raz talks so highly of? I'm a troll says I just became a Sledgehammer Patreon member at the 500 level. So I'm going to say right now, I know you didn't because I would have gotten an email for something like that. Sir, as humans are animals. Well, I understand that. But if food hops onto my property, or if a coyote, which is more likely, hops onto the property, I'm not going to just do nothing. Ultra Dart sound like the pre-1942 torpedoes. Yeah, I know. They're fucking awful. There's polypropylene. Why would you make something to fire at people out of polypropylene? That's just such a dumb idea. It's such a fragile foam. Coyotes are cowards. What about the 30 to 50 feral hogs that run into the yard while you're... That's great and all, but can it handle 30 to 50 feral hogs? Oy. I remember my friend telling me that their dog bit an Ultra Dart out of the air and snapped it in half on impact. Damn, that is a badass dog. Specifically, you'd make it out of polypropylene so that it'd be more prone to breaking, so consumers have to buy more darts. Yeah, I know. Which is agitating. Far-right conservatives are basically food for you. Jesus Christ. Coyotes are cowards because they take a numbers advantage. That's like alliance players. Hey, as an alliance player, I am offended. You need a very powerful rifle due to a hog's thick skin. You need a very powerful rifle. You could also just use a strong crossbow. I'm a troll says, why are you reading my comments? It's simple. You're a troll. And here we eat trolls for breakfast, and it's fun. Like, I read people's comments. Ah, you're right, though. Comments. That's a thing I should probably talk about. Does anybody want to go on a comment journey with me? Give me... We'll end this stream with a comment journey. Because this... If you're on Twitter, you've seen this comment journey already. But... Here. Let's go on a journey together. Will Biden start having CPS take away kids from fundy parents, outlaw spanking? I doubt it. Biden is progressive, but he's also still very right. Over to window-wise. All right. What the fuck is a comment journey? You're about to find out. This is a journey that happened in my comment section. Let's have fun. From a Jessica Evans. I will not sell to blacks at the moment. This movement is fucking ridiculous. Now, mind, this was on my Eric Porterfield video. Had nothing to do with black people, but okay. I told her I sincerely doubt you even have that kind of power to just not sell to blacks. And she goes, you're not me. You don't live where I live, and you know absolutely nothing about me. So take your judgmental bullshit on a walk. Just when I'm judgmental, you just said you wouldn't sell to black people for being born different. Am I the judgmental one? They said, yes, you are. Assuming why, just because of 2 sentences, a comment with 0 information in it, you are judgmental. You have no idea why I feel like that, and instead of finding out, you immediately judge. You don't know what my profession is. You don't know what my skills are. Who are you to say whether I have the power to refuse someone's sale or not? Regardless of the reason. Judgmental. Also, this isn't a script, hun. You can totally use proper punctuation and spacing here, despite the fact that there's run-on sentences. And being as incredibly clear as possible, I did mention somewhat of a reason in those 2 sentences. No, the fuck you didn't. All the bullshit you run around talking about, and you don't talk about any of the protests that turned violent because they're all black, huh? You won't call these fools out for taking shit way too goddamn far. Somebody has been reading a lot of Fox News articles. And then they say, come on, I'm waiting. Come on, you fucking fascist. Slam me for my opinions. Fascist. So I said, can you please define fascism? And they go, nope, you've got plenty more to respond to without trying to divert. So I said, well, but you see, you decided to insult me with a word that I'm fairly certain you can't define. My parameters for continuing are, define that word and how it applies to me. To which they go, I love how blind and insignificant you are to me. See, you don't know me for shit. I've been watching you for years. Also, opinion suppression. Apparently opinion suppression is their definition of fascism. Umberto Eco would be very, very displeased. Then they go, would you prefer if I called you a Nazi or a communist? They all do the same shit, just in different ways. So then I pointed out, this quote, how insignificant you are to me, and then this quote, I've been watching you for years. Yeah, I don't feel like those two sentences jive very well together, because I'm going to go ahead and say right now, for me, the definition of significance isn't that someone is or isn't important, but how much time in your life they take up. You may not like your parents. They may not be significant to you mentally, but if you spend all your time with them, they are of great significance to you. You spend the majority of your time with them. And I said, these two sentences don't really jive well together. I haven't suppressed your opinion, nor anyone else's, and opinion suppression isn't really a hallmark of fascism in any case. Fascism being like religious ethno-nationalism, hell-bent on reviving the past. I said, you know what? I'll bite despite your condescending attitude and ill-conceived frameworks. I'll ask you a question. Why is it that you won't do business with black people? What is your business? What do you do? They said only a coward would stick to the original insults and refuse the argument or debate or whatever you want to call it on those grounds. I'm still here, hun. You don't have shit to say, do you? Despite the fact that I just said shit. Continues. Holy shit, guy. I already told you this isn't a script. Articulate properly or I'm done with your dumb ass. Also, I never said you weren't entertaining. Frankly, that's the only reason I ever watched you. That does not mean you play any significant role in my life. Well, apparently entertainment's one of them. You seem to be trying to tweak and twist your own narrative, and I believe that that's called a straw man. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't debate, so I don't really care. I just know it's a very weak argument. Have I presented an argument so far? I haven't. They don't even know what a fucking argument is. So I pointed out that I'm fairly certain I can type however I please. If you can ascertain what I mean, then my method of communication should be perfectly fine. She goes, well, it doesn't really matter what I do. What I make will not be sold to blacks until this bullshit movement stops and they get their shit together. Seeing black people as a monolith, that's a little bit fucking racist. I said, you got all up in arms about me not knowing, but even if it doesn't matter, then I suppose you had no reason to be upset that I didn't know anything about you. Yet I made my call. My question is this. What about black people makes them ill-fitting customers for your particular brand of salesmanship? They said, well, I won't help them win. This shit will get violent again, and any supporters of the movement will not have my support. It really doesn't matter what I make. I was pissy about you trying to judge me and not even knowing me. You're like the master of rewording things, aren't you? Let's just say I build commissions that you're not going to find on Etsy. Oh, wow. Jessica's got a fedora. Isn't that cute? So I said, okay, so if a black American tries to commission you, you'll just go, no, man, sorry, you're black. Can't do business with the blacks right now. And they go, when you get attacked as much as I have by the same group of people, you'd cut ties too. Imagine getting attacked by random black people and then using that as a justification to be racist against all black people. Imagine being that fucking stupid. So then I say, and you think the reason they attack you is because they're black? What about their blackness makes them attack you? To which she says, exactly. Never risk helping the enemy in any way. Just because they're not all bad doesn't mean that enough of them aren't. the enemy. The enemy. So I said, so black people are the enemy. And they go, you didn't listen very well, did you? Why don't you just go back and read? Because I know I mentioned the little, whatever that word is, and stated reasons for attacking me. Where did she state the reasons that people attacked her? Did you guys catch it? Because I screenshotted the entire conversation. Where was that in the conversation? Said, I think you're just crap at defending your racism. I also think it's funny. She goes, shit, it's like trying to explain who the bad guys overseas are. Think of it from a cop's perspective. You're walking around what the Army calls an asymmetrical battlefield. It's better not to chance helping one who might be the enemy. Oh, these are the types of people that think that militarization of the police is perfectly A-okay, and that America's just an urban battlefield where cops are the thin blue line between order and chaos. Jesus fucking Christ. They point out there's just as many white people in the BLM movement as black people, if not more. Better not sell to whites then. Can't chance it. They go, if you actually knew me, you would outright not be asking if I thought black people were the enemy. I won't sell to them, but I did grow up with them. I hate a lot of them, but I don't hate them all, especially, or enough of them have crossed a line for me for opposition to arise. Here's my reframing of that. If you only knew why I was racist, you'd understand. Now pass. You've had ample opportunity to explain why, in detail, you've had issues with people born with the sin of having more melanin in their skin. And then we get here. And you've had ample opportunity to properly read the things I've said. You're just an idiot, and you're calling it quits now because you've got nothing but questions. Weren't you getting upset that I wasn't asking questions before? Fucking moron. It's not a matter of me explaining myself, boy. I'm actually important in my real-life home community, unlike you. How the fuck do you know about my real-life home community? I've been to fucking war. I graduated college. You could never top my accomplishments at this point in my life. And crack-headed white boys like you are half the problem. And when the shooting starts, the ones next to the blacks will die too. Okay. All right, Jessica. And then they go to, you're clearly too stupid to understand that I hate the movement and everything it represents, not the people. The movement is why I will not risk selling to them. We all have our reasons for our opinions. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't make you correct. In fact, your little hippie-loving piece of bullshit is outright wrong. Change takes blood. I think your blindness to the situation is fucking hilarious, and I never said that I wasn't racist, just not towards blacks. I'm not racist, just not towards black people, apparently. Also, I explained to you why I don't like these fools. You're just too... to listen, fat ass. And then they just kept on going. I saw that. Incompetent too. Catch you later, loser. Got some shit to get done. Have fun talking to your computer. They're the ones talking to their computer at this point. Also, the I saw that was because I accidentally hit the heart on one of their messages. And then had to click away from it because I was having this conversation on the phone, so I fat-fingered. But apparently that just means I'm super incompetent. And then, of course, because I then used that opportunity to heart all their comments and then unheart them. You're so worthless. I mean, I basically got you to continue to talk even though you seem determined not to. I got you to type normal paragraphs despite your protests, and now you're acting like a child. By hitting the heart and taking it away. By hitting the heart and taking it away. That's me acting like a child. Okay. So I figure we'll just end the stream on that fun little tangent. That was an interesting conversation. And if you want to see more interesting conversations like that, follow me on Twitter where the suffering continues. Oh boy. With that said, I am going to hop off stream. Thank you all for watching. It has been an absolute blast. Not only are y'all incredibly generous with your time and donations and everything else, Yumi is cute.